Chapter 1403. After Qin Wentian sealed the particle world, he naturally didn't wish for these people to leave. In that case, the people of the immortal realms wouldn't know of what happened here. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor wouldn't know as well. Although even if they knew what happened here, they might not be able to guess that Eastern Sage had an avatar. However, Qin Wentian's actions were steady and he wouldn't take the risk. Eastern Sage could guess on his own. As for these people, many of them did whatever they wanted in this particle world. Keeping them here was also a form of punishment for them. As for those innocent people who were attracted by the rumors, Qin Wentian didn't intend to trap them here for eternity. When he was strong enough and the time was right, or when Eastern Sage died, nobody would care about what happened in this particle world anymore. At that time, it wouldn't be too late to release them. Naturally, for some people, such a punishment was still far from enough. Qin Wentian turned his gaze to that immortal king who did whatever he wanted in Chu earlier as a cold light flashed in his eyes. "Young Lord Qin, please forgive me." That immortal king bowed. Qin Wentian radiated a tyrannical aura. "Are you willing to accept the punishment?" Qin Wentian coldly asked. "I'm willing." That immortal king nodded. The blazing fiend immortal king had died before him. How would he dare to reject Qin Wentian? "However, I guess that you might be someone sent by the Eastern Sage sect. In addition to the things you have done, I really want to kill you. What do you think I should do?" Qin Wentian icily spoke. "Young Lord Qin, I'm definitely not someone sent by the Eastern Sage sect. As for everything I've done, I'm willing to forgive myself. I hope that young Lord Qin can spare me." That immortal king turned pale. He was worried that Qin Wentian would really kill him in a fit of anger. "Kneel down and kowtow in the direction of Chu." Qin Wentian coldly spoke, telling an immortal king to kneel down and kowtow in remorse. That immortal king turned pale. This was simply a loss of all his dignity. He was an immortal king, a lofty existence. How difficult was it to make him kowtow in remorse? However, in the face of his life, he could still discard his dignity. He knelt on the ground and kowtowed in the direction of Chu. The hearts of everyone in the surroundings trembled as they stared at Qin Wentian with a fanatical gaze. This was the true guardian of their particle world. Before this, the so-called top-ranker Jiang Feng acted like a lackey for the blazing fiend immortal king. Some people still felt that it was because the Ouyang aristocrat clan didn't know the immensity of the heavens and earth. But now when they saw Qin Wentian, they only felt ashamed. The young man before him was the symbol of this world. Everything he did was for the sake of his homeland. "Fine, I'll forgive you. After I seal your cultivation base, you can stay in Chu and teach the people of Chu how to cultivate. For those who are willing to be your tutelage, don't reject them. If not, kill them." Qin Wentian emotionlessly spoke. That immortal king's face turned ashen. From a lofty immortal king who could do whatever he wanted, to a slave of Chu. He even needed to teach them how to cultivate. Many people felt agitated and even wanted to go to Chu. Such a powerful character actually had his cultivation base sealed and had to teach the people of Chu. This was truly, Uncle Qin's plan is too perfect. It's such a pity to kill these people. Only Uncle Qin can think of something like this. How sinister. Ouyang Yu laughed. Ouyang Yuro who was beside him glared at him. "How can you say that Uncle Qin is sinister?" "Fine, I won't say any more. I know Uncle Qin is your idol. Now that you've met your idol, are you very excited?" Ouyang Yu mischievously spoke. Back then in the inn, who was fighting against An Linglong? At that time, Uncle Qin hadn't even revealed his identity. Ouyang Yuro smiled. Ouyang Xiaolu shook her head and bitterly smiled. After that, when she saw Qin Wentian starting to seal the immortals' cultivation bases, she couldn't help but sigh in her heart. Who would have thought that the Qin Wentian she knew back then, would actually reach an unimaginable height 100 years later? At that time, Qin Wentian had suffered quite a bit in the Ouyang aristocrat clan and was even humiliated by Ouyang Ting. Luckily, his elder brother Ouyang Guangsheng had a very good relationship with Qin Wentian. All of this was like a dream. The people of the particle world all heaved a sigh of relief. There were also many who felt excitement. Very soon, there would be many immortals whose cultivation bases were sealed. Qin Wentian had to teach them how to cultivate. In the future, this world would surely grow stronger. Qin Wentian's method of sealing was naturally different. For those evil immortals, he directly sealed them to death, making them slaves. For those with ordinary cultivation bases, he could even order them to teach them how to cultivate. As for those immortals who didn't cause trouble, Qin Wentian left them with plenty of strength, allowing them to retain their dignity and could choose to accept disciples. As for the sealing of this world, Qin Wentian was still very confident in the abilities of that old fellow. Every time he grew stronger, he would discover that this old fellow was even more powerful than before. His strength was simply unfathomable. In the immortal realms, Dongsheng Heaven Emperor naturally left feeling extremely sullen. After his particle world was sealed, he had no idea what happened inside. In fact, he didn't even know who that old fellow was. He only knew that his sharp senses told him that the old fellow was extremely terrifying. However, he had never heard of such a character before. Today, he snuck back again, but he didn't discover that the old man was there. He tried to break the seal only to discover that he couldn't break it. This sealing formation was simply too terrifying. Dong Sage stared at his senior sister. Could it be that in this boundless particle world, there were some extremely terrifying existences hidden there? Dongsheng Heaven Emperor couldn't help but to think about those who had reached the pinnacle of cultivation. Where did they go? Where did those ancient emperors go? The ancient emperors they knew were all experts who unified the world. However, there were some who didn't care about power and authority. Could it be that their strength was weak? In this boundless world, there might be some supreme existences hidden in this boundless particle world. Naturally, there might be even more powerful characters who have already left the Azure Mystic Immortal realms. After I take revenge, I will leave this Azure Mystic Immortal realms and traverse through the boundless void to see how fascinating the other immortal realms are. Dongsheng Heaven Emperor stared at the boundless starry space before glancing at the resplendent immortal realms. If he didn't kill Qin Wentian, if he didn't kill Bai Wuya, if he didn't destroy the immortal Qianbian Gate, he wouldn't be willing to leave. Even if he left, there would be a devil in his heart and his cultivation would be halted at this level. As for the Qin Wentian now, he was currently in closed-door seclusion within the immortal Qianbian Gate, not meeting anyone. During this period of time, it was like he had completely vanished, just like back then when he went to the Dark North Immortal Mountain. Only by doing this would the people of the immortal realms know about the existence of Qin Wentian in this particle world. They wouldn't suspect the existence of the 2DD clones. This was also the reason why Qin Wentian was so cautious. However, as everything in the particle world concluded, the entire world was sealed. His avatar Di Tian would continue to stay in the particle world for a period of time. Qin Wentian also set his heart at ease. Back then when he left the particle world, he initially thought that there wouldn't be any more incidents there. But this time around, Eastern Sage was forced into such a miserable state that he started to worry. In truth, his worries had become reality. A lofty immortal emperor, a hegemon of the 13 prefectures back then, actually acted against a mere particle world. Qin Wentian hid in the shadows, wanting Eastern Sage to reveal himself. This Eastern Sage, I'm afraid he would do anything in the future. In the cultivation ground, Qin Wentian sat cross-legged as he silently mused. He had to be wary of Eastern Sage. A crazed immortal emperor was the most terrifying. At this moment, law energy radiated from Qin Wentian. He was currently using law energy to refine his immortal body and immortal bones. After reaching the immortal king realm, his body was already a body of laws. His bones, blood, meridians, and internal organs had all undergone a baptism, and his vitality was incomparably vigorous. Hence, if an immortal king died, their bodies would all be considered treasures. Qin Wenqian's immortal sense stared inwardly. His bones radiated immortal light, the runes of law energy contained within them, and his internal organs were all filled to the brim. At this moment, his immortal sense flowed towards his heart. Over there, he could faintly sense an aura that didn't belong to him. He tried to stimulate that aura, and after many attempts, a beam of light flashed as an ethereal figure appeared in the range of Qin Wenqian's immortal sense. Uncle Black. Qin Wenqian stared at that familiar figure as boundless reminiscence filled his heart. Uncle Black had an extraordinary meaning to him. He had brought him up since he was young and was even closer to him compared to his foster father Qin Chuan. You finally found me. I didn't expect it to be so fast. In that case, I'm already satisfied. Uncle Black had a smile on his face. When he sensed how strong Qin Wenqian's body was, his countenance was filled with kindness. In the past when you were young, I was too strict to you. In fact, I didn't even smile at you. Wenqian, Uncle Black has let you down. Uncle Black, everything is for the sake of encouraging me to grow. From the time I was at my weakest, you wanted me to sever my meridians and cultivate, not allowing me to condense astral souls too early, allowing me to have a better starting point for my cultivation. Everything starts from the beginning. I naturally understand Uncle Black's intentions. Qin Wenqian sighed. Uncle Black, before you left, you said that you would come and find me after I broke through to the immortal realm. However, you didn't come and have always been in my body, waiting for me. I thought I would have to wait for a very long time. Uncle Black laughed. The immortal realms are so vast, Immortal Foundation experts are nothing more than a drop of water in the vast ocean. Where would I go to find you? Also, I don't plan to see you in the immortal realms, and maybe in the future as well. Back then, I was strict to you because you had a mission to fulfill. Although your father once told me that if you are mediocre, you should live an ordinary life and never tell anyone about your origins, I naturally don't wish for you to be ordinary. Although I watched you grow up, I've followed your father for far too many years. My feelings for him are even deeper compared to yours. Qin Wenqian didn't feel any unhappiness when he heard Uncle Black's calm voice. On the contrary, he could sense the feelings Uncle Black had for his father. There was only gratitude in his heart. My father, is he dead? Qin Wenqian asked. This was a question he had always wanted to know the answer to. In the memory fragments of the tiny astral being, he saw the tragic ending of his father. His bones and flesh were all snatched away, and he was dead for sure. However, after that, his father seemed to still be alive. Qin Wenqian wanted to know the truth. Chapter 1404. When Qin Wenqian asked this, he was extremely nervous. He stared at Uncle Black, as though he wanted to know the answer, but at the same time, he was afraid of the other answer. I don't know. Uncle Black replied, his words causing Qin Wenqian's gaze to freeze. He didn't know. However, he did die once before. However, your father was a heaven-defying genius, he didn't manage to take his life away. He survived and restarted his life. As for now, I have no idea where he is or if he is still alive. Uncle Black spoke. Qin Wenqian's heart trembled. He died once and restarted his life. I once saw in my memories that my father was once surrounded and killed by a powerful clan. Everything of his body was stripped away. Uncle Black, when you said he died once, are you referring to that time? Qin Wenqian asked. Yes, seems like you have seen it as well. Uncle Black nodded. If your father gave you his memories, it might contain the memories of his two lives. In his first life, he was extremely frivolous, unrestrained and unrestrained. He was willing to give up everything and did his best to slaughter his way through the world. But after that, he grew tired of everything and wanted to leave. However, there was someone who didn't allow it and wanted to kill him no matter what. This was the reason why his second life was born. Your father's second life was calm and peaceful, he didn't have the brilliance of the past. He concealed his tracks and cultivated in a particle world until you were born. After that, in order to protect you, he chose to leave. It wasn't that he didn't want to see you grow up, but he wanted to sever all connections with you. In that case, no one would know who you are. You are his son, he wanted to protect you. Uncle Black slowly spoke. Qin Wentian's heart trembled when he heard this. He naturally believed Uncle Black's words. He had once personally witnessed how powerful Qin Yuanfeng's clan was. The palace his father stayed in could even be compared to the royal palaces of the Evergreen Kingdom, majestic and imposing. The experts of that clan were simply unimaginable. Even after he restarted his life, his father was still in danger. Hence, he chose to sever all connections with him. If his father was mediocre, he wouldn't know all of this and would live a peaceful life. However, Uncle Black wasn't willing to accept this. He hoped that his son would be like his father, Qin Yuanfeng, born extraordinary and unrestrained, daring to challenge the world. Even if his father was the king of the clan, Uncle Black wouldn't be able to compete with him. But if he wanted to compete, even if his father was the king of the clan, he would still be able to defeat him. It was just that his father, Qin Yuanfeng, was too unruly. He had no father or mother, there was no one to control him and he refused to submit to the clan. Not only for you guys, even us old fellows were your father's servants back then. Also, we have changed our appearances and suffered heavy injuries. We can be considered half-cripples and our existences wouldn't attract the attention of others. But even so, we still kept a low profile, silently waiting for you in various corners of the particle world, watching you grow up step by step. Now that you have arrived in the immortal realms, we won't appear again because we similarly have to sever all connections with you. Before you have sufficient strength, you have to remember not to let others know that you are Qin Yuanfeng's son. Uncle Black's words caused Qin Wentian to be speechless. As the son of Qin Yuanfeng, he actually had to hide his identity from the world. Trembling with fear, all of this was because of his enemy. They shouldn't be in this immortal realms, right? Qin Wentian asked. Naturally not. Your father has long left his homeland and didn't even dare to stay in this immortal realms. In this world, there are some stories about your father and there might be people who know of his existence. As for your father's clan, they were able to traverse through countless worlds and find this place. Hence, even if your enemy isn't in this immortal realms, you still mustn't let others know of this. Right now, even if the people of the world investigate you, they would only know that you grew up in a particle world and that you are an orphan. You were raised by the Qin clan in Sky Harmony city of Chu. Hence, your surname is Qin. Uncle Black slowly continued, it's just that others might be able to tell that your bloodline power is extraordinary. But if it wasn't for those two clans personally witnessing you using it, no one would know of it. In the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms, no one would be able to tell. But after you leave this world, try to use the power bestowed upon you by your bloodline more secretively or use it sparingly. This is especially so when your cultivation base grows stronger and the power of your bloodline is completely stimulated, the uniqueness of your bloodline would be even more obvious. Now, there's nothing much, but you have to remember this. Qin Wentian nodded. Knowing that his father was reborn, his state of heart was much more relaxed. Although he still couldn't ascertain if his father was dead or alive, at the very least, there was a very high chance that he was still alive. Which layer of the 33 heavens does your enemy reside in exactly? What clan does he belong to? Qin Wentian asked. In the strongest layer of the 33 heavens, there's an extremely powerful clan. There's no need for you to know too clearly now. But after you reach that step, there's no need for me to tell you. You will know for yourself. Uncle Black spoke. Qin Wentian's heart trembled. The strongest layer of the 33 heavens? How strong was that place? An extremely powerful clan. He had already seen how terrifying that clan was in his memories. Right now, he himself was also at the Immortal King realm and could see the difference in strength even more clearly. In that battle in his memories, even immortal emperors would be annihilated in an instant. Why does that clan want to deal with my father? Back then in that battle, my father defeated the king of the clan. Why didn't they choose my father? I don't understand. Qin Wentian was filled with intense hatred. Although he didn't personally experience that battle, he personally saw his father being sucked dry by an incomparably powerful supreme treasure. His body was stripped away, and on the other end of that treasure, was actually the king of the clan who grew up together with his father. Everything of his father's was stripped away and given to the other party to inherit. Such a cruel punishment was 100 times crueler than death. If there was a day where he could trample over the heavens and earth, he would definitely repay this debt of blood with blood. Everything that his father was stripped away, he wanted that clan to pay for it. This is the greatest secret of your father. Your father was a direct descendant of the clan and his parents were also major characters of the clan. However, both of them died in battle and your father became an orphan from a young age. His personality was eccentric and he didn't like to speak much. The elders of the clan watched over him as he grew up, treating him as the future of the bloodline. Uncle Black stared at Qin Wentian as he continued, your father didn't disappoint them. He was sent to a place where the direct descendants of the clan would be nurtured. His talent was outstanding and he had an extraordinary son. At the same time, there were two other extremely outstanding individuals in the clan. One was a young king, the other was a girl that your father was secretly in love with. The three of them were good friends when they were young, but after the two of them got together with you, your father was extremely sad. He sent his blessings and left the clan to roam the world alone. He experienced all sorts of trials and tribulations, narrowly escaping death, tempering himself into a lofty and unyielding character. At the same time, the king of the clan was incomparably glorious, like the sun in the sky. No one in his generation could compare to him, and he was seen as one of the successors to the clan leader in the future. He was heavily nurtured. He was born to be a king, and was incomparably dazzling. However, he knew that there was only one person who could compete with him, and that was your father. However, your father had no interest in the power of the clan, and he completely separated himself from the clan as he grew up. In fact, he rarely returned to the clan. The two of them did not interfere with each other, and the king of the clan continued to grow, gradually becoming the unquestionable leader of his generation. The two of them never interacted with each other again. Until it was rumored that your father obtained a supreme treasure that countless people in the world wanted to obtain. Your father was hunted down from all directions, and when the clan summoned him back, he refused to do so. He and your mother flew off together, roaming the world, living a carefree and unrestrained life. No one could control them, not even the clan. In fact, they even concealed their tracks. Until one day, the king of the clan came to pay a visit to your father, and your father warmly welcomed him. However, the king of the clan came prepared, and actually started a battle with your father. After he was defeated, he left the clan, and it was unknown what he said when he returned to the clan. In his rage, your father rebelled against the powerful clan. Because of this, the elders of the clan were even more enraged. They had never seen such a wanton and unrestrained clan member, and they sent out many experts to hunt him down. However, their attempts were all to no avail, and there were even many people who were injured by your father. In the end, your mother's clan also came, and they brought your mother away. All of this still wasn't over. The clan's pursuit didn't stop until one day, when your father returned to the clan. There were many people in this bloodline who were willing to follow him, wanting to clear your father's name. They invited the king of the clan to fight fair and square. Your father wanted to take back what he had lost, but in that battle, the king of the clan was defeated once again. However, who would have thought that the king of the clan was incomparably despicable? They actually said that the king of the clan was borrowing the power of that supreme treasure. If the supreme treasure was given to the clan, it would create an even stronger king. If it was given to the king of the clan would be 10 times, 100 times stronger than your father. How could your father be willing to hand it over? Naturally, another heaven-shaking battle ensued. Upon seeing the elders who followed him being injured or even killed, your father was completely enraged and started a massacre. By doing so, the old fellows in the clan who were in control of the clan were completely enraged. They stepped out and joined forces to deal with your father, seizing your father's life. After that, they bestowed everything your father had to the king of the clan. Although we haven't seen each other for many years, one can already imagine that the king of the clan must have already reached an inconceivable level. No one would be able to affect his status, and no one would be able to contend against him. Uncle Black's voice was filled with boundless rage. Qin Wentian's eyes were also blazing with the flames of hatred. All of this was taken away from his father. All of this, they had to repay this debt of blood with blood. That so-called king of the clan, was he already so glorious that he could look down on everything under the heavens? Qin Wentian's fists were clenched so tightly that his veins were popping out. The law energy in his body was frenziedly circulating. Although he had personally witnessed the fragmented memories of his father and could guess some things, when he truly heard Uncle Black narrating this part of history, he was still incomparably enraged. His hatred towered up into the sky. Chapter 1405. 33 Heavenly Layers, the strongest layer of heavenly layers. Qin Wentian's heart was filled with rage. From one of the memories, his father and mother bestowed everything to him. He could feel the emotions of kinship, and from then on, he understood that it wasn't that his birth parents had abandoned him. It was just that because they loved him too much, they would rather separate from him and sever all connections with him than to let others know of his existence. Even if one day his father was hunted down in his second life, no one would know that he was Qin Wentian. What about my mother? Is she still doing well? Qin Wentian asked. I have no idea as well. After your mother was captured, your father returned to the clan for a battle. I believe that he had already predicted the ending of that battle. Although he died once, he didn't die in the end and chose to cultivate anew. You should be able to guess where your father cultivated in his second life. Uncle Black spoke. The particle world I'm in. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. Yes, that's the starting point of your father's second life. He is the same as you, growing up there. There are also some half-crippled old fellows like us who grew up there. It has been a very long time since then. Uncle Black laughed. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. After that, he smiled, so it turns out that not only did I grow up in that particle world, my father's footprints were there as well. I've seen the Qin Heavenly Divine sect before. Most probably, it was established by my father when he was cultivating in that particle world, right? As your father's cultivation grew stronger, it was naturally impossible for him to stay in that particle world forever. He went out to roam the world and should be the same as you, coming to this azure mystic immortal realms and leaving behind his footprints. After that, your mother found your father. Although many years have passed, their feelings for each other didn't change at all. They gave birth to you and gave everything they had to you. Uncle Black smiled. There were actually traces of tears at the corners of his eyes. Qin Wentian thought back to the first time he saw the memories of his birth. At that time, his parents seemed to have given him the most precious thing they had, and after that, they brought him to this particle world. After you were born, your parents told me to bring you away. He also went to see you, but he still severed all ties with you, never letting others know of your existence even if he was hunted down one day. As for you, you were the same as your father, going to the place where your father grew up in his second life. There, your father's footprints could be seen. Some of us crippled old fellows also hoped that you would be able to rise up from there, walking on a path of glory and fighting against the various heavenly planes. Uncle Black's eyes flashed with anticipation. Uncle Black, I will. Qin Wentian spoke in a light voice, yet his eyes were filled with determination. Emicham, I also believe that you will. Once, in this particle world, no matter what danger you encountered, we would pretend that we didn't know anything, pretending that we didn't see it. We don't wish for you to have any external help because if you want to reach your father's level, you can only depend on yourself. But Uncle Black, you guys still won't be able to watch me die. Back then in the Pill Emperor Hall, when I was at the end of my rope, didn't you guys appear? Qin Wentian smiled. Uncle Black smiled but he didn't say anything. You already have your current cultivation base. In the future, us crippled old fellows will have no way to help you. You have to walk your path well. Remember, you have to head to the strongest heavenly plane. Over there, the might of the heavenly planes is unimaginably strong. This Azure Mystic Immortal Realms is the outermost world of the 33 heavenly planes. Hence, your father chose this place because this place is the furthest away from your enemies. Uncle Black, you guys have to take good care of yourselves. Qin Wentian smiled. The strongest of the 33 heavenly planes. He would definitely head there. Uncle Black said that when he reached that step, he would naturally understand who his enemies were. From this, one could very well imagine what sort of height his enemies, his father's clan, stood at. Don't worry, us old fellows still have to stand in a certain corner of the world and watch you stand at the peak. You have to tell those people that they were wrong back then and they have to pay the price for their mistakes. Uncle Black seriously spoke. He had watched Qin Wentian grow up since he was young. No matter who it was, cultivation had to start from the basics. No one would be able to skip this rule. He helped Qin Wentian build a good foundation. As for everything in the future, Qin Wentian would have to depend on himself. Uncle Black's expectations of Qin Wentian were too high. If his expectations weren't high enough, it wouldn't be enough for him to take revenge. I will definitely make them pay for this debt. Qin Wentian's voice was ice cold. I'm leaving. Walk your path well in the future. If your parents are still alive, they would definitely be waiting for you in a certain corner of the world. They will wait for the day when you stand at the peak, fighting against immortals and devils. Uncle Black smiled as he stared at Qin Wentian. After that, his silhouette gradually turned illusory before vanishing completely, as though he had never appeared before. Qin Wentian opened his eyes as sharpness gleamed within. His fists were still tightly clenched as he inclined his head and stared at the sky. The 33 heavenly planes, the highest layer of heavenly planes in the immortal realms. An incomparably powerful ancient family. An ancient race. He would eventually reach that step and stand in front of them. After that, Qin Wentian closed his eyes again as his will started to corrode the tiny astral being. An incomparably vast amount of astral energy gushed into it. He wanted to pry into all the scattered memories. He opened up the countless fragments of memories as more and more scenes of the memories flowed into his mind. Back then when Qin Wentian opened up the core memories and knew that his father was killed by an ancient clan, he didn't look at these memories because he felt that it was already enough. But now, he wanted to see even more. When these fragments of memories appeared in his mind, Qin Wentian experienced even more of his father's growth. He gradually understood the difference between his father's first and second life. In his first life, his father was unrestrained and unrestrained, extremely frivolous. In his second life, his father was mature and introverted, keeping a low profile. Although the memories he had after he was born were only the memories he saw when he was very young, Qin Wentian could still vaguely feel the feelings his parents had for him. He also knew that after he followed Uncle Black to this particle world, his father must have secretly visited him. Rumble. Qin Wentian abruptly clenched his fists. Right now, there were still some astral crystals left in the core of the tiny astral being that he couldn't open up. His aura surged before it gradually dissipated. Drawing in a deep breath, he stepped out and entered the bedroom. Wentian, what's wrong? Qingqing saw the sadness in Qin Wentian's eyes. She couldn't help but to walk forward, her gentle and beautiful eyes seemed to be able to melt the hearts of men. Qingqing. Qin Wentian took a step forward and embraced Qingqing in his arms. Qingqing's body trembled as intense waves rocked her heart. Although this was an insignificant action, she had been with Qin Wentian since they were young. They had experienced too much together, and she had also seen Qin Wentian experience too much. Even when the Pill Emperor Hall was in despair, his eyes were still as resolute as ever. She was very clear on what sort of person Qin Wentian was. But right now, he was actually feeling so sad. When she thought of this, Qingqing's heart felt like it was about to melt. She quietly embraced Qin Wentian, allowing him to feel her warmth. "Everything will be fine, I will always be by your side," Qingqing softly spoke. Her head rested on Qin Wentian's shoulder as a radiant smile could be seen on her face. But in this smile, there was also a trace of sadness in her heart. She knew that the pressure on Qin Wentian was too great. Everyone's pressure was on him. The greater the strength, the greater the responsibility. He protected everyone around him, and when he faced powerful opponents, he slashed his way through all obstacles, akin to a man of steel. However, humans would eventually grow tired. She felt some heartache, hating herself for being useless, unable to share his burdens. "Qingqing, thank you." Qin Wentian felt the warmth from Qingqing's tender body as he felt extremely moved in his heart. Qingqing had no regrets, following him. They were separated more often than not, but she had no complaints at all. She would often gaze at him, longing for him. "Dumbo." Qingqing smiled mischievously. Qin Wentian's heart trembled, but he soon smiled as well. After he learned of what happened to his parents, his rage towered up into the sky. However, he also felt the pressure of responsibility. Even if he was at the ancient emperor level, he would still be far from being able to look at him. In front of that gigantic existence, there was basically nothing he could do. At this moment, Qin Wentian's countenance changed as a sharp glint of light flickered in his eyes. "Qingqing, little rascal seems to have something to do." The two of them separated. Qin Wentian spoke to Qingqing. "Did something happen?" Qingqing asked. "I'm not sure about the specifics, but it seems to be very anxious. There's impatience and agitation. I have no idea what happened." Qin Wentian spoke in a low voice. As his cultivation base grew stronger, the connection between him and Little Rascal also grew stronger. At this moment, Little Rascal, who was tempering himself in the desolate 10,000 mountain range, actually sent a signal to him. "What should we do then? Do you want to go?" Qingqing asked. "I'm prepared to go and take a look. I'm worried that Little Rascal might encounter danger." Qin Wentian spoke. Although he brought Little Rascal and Purgatory to the desolate 10,000 mountain range for tempering, if there really was danger, how could Qin Wentian bear to do so? Qingqing nodded lightly. She smiled, "Go ahead, I will wait for you." "Okay, I will go and ask the monarch first." Qin Wentian spoke. He then departed, moving towards the Emperor Palace of Qinbian. "Wentian, come to my place." Before Qin Wentian arrived at the Emperor Palace of Qinbian, a voice rang out in his ears. He changed his direction and soon arrived at Wuxia's palace. "Senior brother." Qin Wentian walked in and called out. "There's a beast tied in the desolate 10,000 mountain range. Something major is happening." Wuxia spoke. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. There were many demons in the immortal realms that cultivated and could transform into human form, possessing sentience. There was actually a beast tied. The news from the heavenly talisman realm states that there's a huge beast tied at the border between the desolate 10,000 mountain range and the northern regions of the immortal realms. It's extremely terrifying, and there might be a supremely powerful greater demon in the depths of the mountain range. Bai Wuya spoke. The major powers of the northern regions are already preparing for this. Very soon, the entire immortal realms would receive this news. Qin Wenqian's eyes flashed. Could it be that little rascal sent him a signal because of this beast tide? Chapter 1406. Qin Wenqian stared at Bai Wuya as he asked, "Senior brother, do you want to go there?" The desolate 10,000 mountain range has always been mysterious and unfathomable. It's the same as the myriad Devil Islands. Although they don't forbid Wuxia from entering, those who dare to enter the depths of the desolate 10,000 mountain range are extremely rare. I naturally have to go there and take a look. I asked you to come here because I wanted to ask if you are interested. Bai Wuya spoke. I wish to go there as well. Qin Wenqian nodded lightly. Even if Bai Wuya didn't say it, he would still want to go. If it wasn't for something major, little rascal wouldn't have sent a signal to him. There would definitely be a shocking change in the desolate 10,000 mountain range. There's naturally no problem if you wish to go. It's just that right now, Eastern Sage is hiding in the shadows and his killing intent towards us is extremely intense. He might act at any moment. Leaving aside Eastern Sage, there are still many major characters who want your life outside of the 13 prefectures as well as the Evergreen Kingdom. An example is Zidi. Although he might not be so thick-skinned as to act against you directly because of Emperor Yu's existence, he would definitely show no mercy if there's an opportunity. Bai Wuya spoke. Hence, if you roam the immortal realms now, you have to be extremely cautious. Qin Wenqian frowned. If Eastern Sage didn't die, it would truly be troublesome. But if they wanted to kill him, unless it was a peak-stage immortal emperor or a supremely powerful mid-stage immortal emperor, even if they could defeat the Dongxing Heaven Emperor, they wouldn't be able to kill him. As long as Eastern Sage didn't die, they would be a threat. Senior Emperor Yu is a peak-stage immortal emperor, but I can't request him to do anything. In addition, I don't know his attitude towards this. Qin Wenqian silently mused. Because he was the Saint Lord of the Battle Saint tribe, this was why Emperor Yu protected him. He had no way to request Emperor Yu to kill Eastern Sage for him. If there's more, he would need an extremely powerful senior brother from the Heavenly Talisman realm. However, there weren't many in the immortal realms at that level. Even in the Heavenly Talisman realm, there wouldn't be many of them. He didn't have any interactions with these senior brothers, so how could he allow them to kill Eastern Sage? You should go to the Evergreen Kingdom. If the Dongxing Heaven Emperor goes to the savage 100,000 mountain range, I believe that many big shots will go there, including your future father-in-law. In that case, he won't be able to deal with you. Bai Wuya smiled. Qin Wenqian nodded. After that, Qin Wenqian bid farewell and departed. He brought along several experts from the Battle Saint tribe and directly used the teleportation array to enter the Evergreen Kingdom. In the Celestial Nation Royal Palace, Chongqing Longhao led many nobility figures to welcome them. Qin Wenqian, I heard that your performance in the Immortal War was extraordinary. You crippled Dongxing Kuan and actually have the combat prowess of a mid-stage immortal king. Your accomplishments are truly shocking. Chongqing Longhao stared at Qin Wenqian as he spoke. In the past, Qin Wenqian and Qin Er were in love. As an immortal king prince, although he knew that Qin Wenqian's talent was extraordinary, he didn't treat him as someone of the same generation. However, this battle attracted the attention of the Evergreen Kingdom. Qin Wenqian's performance was simply too dazzling. Such a young immortal king actually managed to surpass Qin Wenqian. This was simply shocking. Elder brother, there's no need to flatter me. Qin Wenqian smiled. Chongqing Longhao was the elder brother of Qin Er. There was naturally no problem with him addressing him as such. There's no need to be humble. Such talent is something I've never seen before. Chongqing Longhao laughed. This time around, are you here because you want to see Qin Er? Has Qin Er returned? Qin Wenqian asked. No, Senior GD is currently supervising her cultivation. If you wish to see her, you can use the teleportation array to head to the cultivation mountain to see Qin Er. Changqing Longhao spoke. Forget it then. I heard that there's a demonic beast rampage in the desolate 10,000 mountain range. I wonder if elder brother has received any news about it. Qin Wentian asked. It's a rare demonic beast wave. Right now, the entire immortal realms have already been shaken. The various peak powers should have received the news and sent their experts to Skybreak City. Elder brother, do you intend to go? What does your majesty think? Qin Wentian asked. It said that the repercussions of the demonic beast wave this time around are extremely great. The major powers of the northern regions even sent out news to the other regions to be on guard against the invasion of the demonic beasts. Father will be heading there as well. Since you are already here, why don't you come along? Right. Qin Wentian nodded. The desolate 10,000 mountain range was boundlessly vast, it was unknown how deep it was and how many demonic beasts there were. Most probably, it was as boundless as the humans in the immortal realms. If there really was a great war, the entire northern regions would be plunged into misery and suffering. No wonder the major powers of the northern regions sent out news to warn the other major powers. Although such a thing was extremely rare, it wasn't unheard of in the countless years of history of the immortal realms. According to the historical records, the desolate 10,000 mountain range once had a great war with the immortal realms. Ancient emperors were born in the immortal realms and the desolate 10,000 mountain range had also produced supreme greater demons that were comparable to ancient emperors. Your Highness, aren't the major powers of the northern regions a little too sensitive? Someone asked. The major powers of the northern regions were all extremely powerful. Although the demonic beast wave was terrifying, if there were experts at the peak acting, they would still be able to suppress it. We have never experienced it before, we naturally don't know how terrifying it is. However, you have to know that the desolate 10,000 mountain range is a paradise for demonic beasts, just like the myriad devil islands where devil cultivators gather. People of our immortal realms basically have no understanding of it. Do you know how strong the desolate 10,000 mountain range is now? Do you know how many supreme demonic beast powers are born in there? Changqing Longhao spoke, his words causing the expression of the person who spoke to stiffen as he felt somewhat ashamed. Indeed, no one knew how strong the desolate 10,000 mountain range was now. Although they didn't invade the immortal realms for countless years, they would definitely send some demonic beasts to infiltrate the immortal realms and know of the foundations of the immortal realms. Their understanding of the immortal realms was much deeper compared to humans. This time around, there would surely be a storm in the northern regions. Changqing Longhao mumbled. They came to the Emperor Palace and paid their respects to Changqing the Great. After that, they departed together, using the teleportation array to head north. Qin Wentian originally could directly use the heavenly talisman realm to traverse the immortal realms. However, he wanted to bring the people of the Battle Saint tribe along. In addition, Bai Wuya was worried about his safety and told him to come to the Evergreen Kingdom. Hence, Qin Wentian used the Evergreen Kingdom and once again arrived at the northern regions. However, this time around, it wasn't the Hokage Sengoku Kingdom. It was the Skybreak City located in the northern regions of the immortal realms. This majestic city was separated from the heavens and earth. After crossing over, one would be able to enter the desolate 10,000 mountain range. Within this majestic city, there were experts from the various peak powers of the northern regions stationed here, observing the movements of the desolate 10,000 mountain range. Skybreak City, the number one city in the northern regions. It was even larger compared to the royal capital of the Hokage Sengoku Kingdom. It was a city that surpassed the core cities of the peak powers of the northern regions and was governed jointly by the various peak powers. In this Skybreak City, the wind of the martial Tao was extremely strong. Experts were as common as clouds, and in addition to the fact that it was connected to the desolate 10,000 mountain range, the people of this city were all used to life and death situations. And during these days, Skybreak City grew even more lively. Countless experts from the immortal realms were rushing over here, and these people were all extremely powerful characters. Immortal kings could be seen everywhere. After all, Immortal Foundation experts were basically useless in the desolate 10,000 mountain range. At this moment, at the border of Skybreak City, the earthen yellow land resembled a long dragon that spanned across the heavens and earth. It was over 100 meters tall, and there were countless silhouettes on the dragon. They stared at the boundless mountain range in the distance as their hearts were filled with great waves of shock. In front of them, the mountain range was actually filled with countless demonic beasts. Although they were very far away, the people here could still sense a supreme demonic chi. It was too terrifying. Even for the people of Skybreak City, they had never seen so many demonic beasts gathered together before. On one of the mountain peaks, terrifying moonlight demonic wolves could be seen. Their eyes were as cold as the moonlight as they stared at the crowd, causing them to involuntarily shiver. Some of these demonic wolves were gigantic, over 100 meters tall. There were even wolf kings that were as large as mountains. This was only one of the mountains. Over there were different types of demonic beasts. It wasn't that they couldn't transform into human form, but right now, they were all in their demonic forms. Their cold eyes stared at the direction of Skybreak City, as though they would launch a violent attack at any moment. The people from the Hokage Sengoku Kingdom are here. At this moment, everyone inclined their heads and stared at the air. They only saw a group of people from the Hokage Sengoku Kingdom flying over. Many experts were carrying a palanquin in the air, and within that palanquin, one could faintly see a supreme beauty. Her side profile is already so beautiful, I wonder who she is. Many people mused. Beauty, can you come out for a walk? Only to see that at this moment, a bold person spoke. The aura from this group of people was extremely tyrannical, and it was rumored that they were from the Thunder God Hall, a peak power in the central regions of the immortal realms. The woman in the palanquin seemed to have moved. She glanced over, and an incomparably cold light seemed to shoot out from her pair of extremely beautiful eyes. Arg! The person who spoke screamed in agony. The experts from the Thunder God Hall felt their hearts trembling. Someone inclined his head and spoke, "Friends from the Hokage Sengoku Kingdom, aren't you going a little too overboard? Whoever dares to say anything more will be killed." An extremely cold voice rang out from the palanquin. "You!" The people from the Thunder God Hall roared in rage. "Your Thunder God Hall should be more obedient. The #1 genius in the history of the Hokage Sengoku Kingdom, Princess Kitamura, isn't someone you can antagonize." An ethereal voice rang out, causing the hearts of everyone to tremble. It was actually the #1 beauty of the Hokage Sengoku Kingdom, Princess Kitamura. Has Princess Kitamura arrived? No wonder her aura was so imposing. "Yu Huang, it has been a long time since we last met." A group of figures walked over. They were also from the northern regions of the immortal realms. It's Pei Qing, he was once the #1 genius in the history of the Hokage Sengoku Kingdom. After that, he was surpassed by Princess Yu Huang. The eyes of everyone flashed when they saw the person who spoke. The two of them stood together, exuding a resplendent radiance. They were truly an immortal couple. Princess Kitamura calmly replied, she didn't say anything. She was extremely cold, causing people to feel that Princess Kitamura didn't have any feelings for Pei Qing at all. Chapter 1407. Skybreak City was a barrier of the northern regions, connected to the desolate 10,000 mountain range. Many peak powers of the northern regions could be seen here. Princess Kitamura and Pei Qing were geniuses at the peak of the Hokage Sengoku Kingdom, their fame was naturally great. Many people have heard of them before. After all, their cultivation bases were at the Immortal Emperor realm, standing at the peak of the Immortal realms. Even in the boundlessly vast northern regions, many people have heard of them before. The opening of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, the Hokage Sengoku Kingdom continuously produced characters that broke the records of history. Many heroes appeared in the northern regions, and there was a rumor that there was a commotion in the eastern regions. Right now, the desolate 10,000 mountain range is trembling. What's going on exactly? Is the sky of the Immortal Realms going to change? Seems like the ancient emperor era isn't just a rumor. Someone sighed. Recently, there were indeed many major events that happened in the Immortal Realms. If the demonic races in the desolate 10,000 mountain range really went crazy and invaded the Immortal Realms, in addition to the fact that the Tiandao Sacred Academy was the symbol of the ancient emperor era, the Immortal Realms would definitely be in chaos. In this chaotic world, geniuses would vie for supremacy. Experts were as common as the clouds, and it was easier for peerless geniuses to appear. In fact, there might even be a supreme expert who could unify the world. Another major power has arrived. At this moment, everyone turned their heads only to see more experts arriving. A group of them were riding on greater demons, all of them exuding an extraordinary aura. So many beauties, the fairies of the Jadestage Immortal Palace have arrived. Another group of people arrived. They were none other than the fairies of the Jadestage Immortal Palace. Upon seeing their beautiful faces, everyone felt that it was a feast for the eyes. So many beauties walking together, it's truly a feast for the eyes. Especially that woman, she's so beautiful. She should be the holy maiden from the Jadestage Immortal Palace, right? There are many rumors about her. There's someone saying that there are 8 great beauties in the northern regions. That holy maiden and Princess Kitamura are among them. The arrival of so many beauties naturally attracted even more experts here. In addition, all of them stood on top of the earthen yellow barrier, quietly staring at the phenomenon happening in the distance. It was as though they wanted to see clearly what these demonic beasts wanted to do. Once these demonic beasts went berserk and rushed into Skybreak City, a massacre would surely occur. Since they came here, they had no choice but to take precautions. These experts were also very patient, waiting patiently, wanting to find out what was going on. For several days, they all waited here. At the same time, more and more experts gathered here. First, it was the major powers from the northern regions. After that, the major powers from the eastern, southern, central and western regions all arrived. Qin Wentian and Chongqing Longhao also arrived. When Qin Wentian stood on top of the earthen yellow barrier and stared into the distance, great waves of shock rose up in his heart. He had long heard that the desolate 10,000 mountain range was the true territory of the demonic beasts. Usually, when people referred to the Immortal Realms, they mainly referred to the human realms and didn't consider the greater demons in the desolate 10,000 mountain range. But now, he personally witnessed this scene and understood that the demons in the desolate 10,000 mountain range might not be any weaker compared to the humans in the Immortal Realms. That boundless mountain range towered up into the sky. Greater demons could be seen hovering in the air. There were powerful rocks, tyrannical thunder hawks, gigantic ox demons that resembled a gigantic mountain, great demonic apes that caused the heavens and earth to tremble with every step they took. Countless demonic beasts gathered here, and these weren't ordinary demonic beasts. All of them had intelligence, and the weakest among them was equivalent to human ascendants. Many of them were demon immortals, and there were even demon kings among them. They seemed to be waiting for something. Little Rascal and Purgatory are in such an environment. Qin Wentian's expression froze. But when he thought about the fact that they were demons as well, there shouldn't be anything wrong. Little Rascal was extremely astute. Roar! At this moment, an earth-shaking roar rang out from afar. It actually didn't come from the desolate 10,000 mountain range but was from the airspace above Skybreak City instead. A group of terrifying auras descended as many greater demons stood on the back of the human, Wuxia. Those human Wuxia transformed into giants and were trampled under the feet of the demons, becoming slaves. Their bodies radiated demonic qi as though they had been demonized. The demons who were trampling them were many powerful demonic races in the western regions of the immortal realms. For example, the White Tiger people. The experts of the White Tiger people exuded a fearsome baleful aura. When they saw the commotion in the desolate 10,000 mountain range, they felt extremely excited. That place was the world of demons. They wondered what kind of powerful demons would be born. Would they be able to sweep through the immortal realms and rule over the humans in the immortal realms? However, the gazes of everyone when they stared at the White Tiger people turned somewhat unfriendly. These fellows were actually excited. Sir Qin. At this moment, a group of people walked towards Qin Wentian. Staring at the beautiful silhouettes before him, Qin Wentian smiled. The fairies of the Nam Huang clan have arrived. Is Yunxi not here? No, Yunxi is currently in closed-door seclusion. An immortal king holy maiden spoke to Qin Wentian. My name is Nanfeng Mingyue. I'm the holy successor of the Nam Huang clan. Someone introduced. The majority of these people were immortal kings. Qin Wentian didn't recognize them and only knew that they were from the Nam Huang clan. Hence, this maiden intentionally introduced them. The holy successor indicated that she had the qualifications to inherit the position of the Southern Phoenix matriarch. She was the same as Nam Huang Yunxi. It's just that Nanfeng Mingyue was an immortal king-ranked holy successor. Holy successor of the Nam Huang clan. Qin Wentian smiled and nodded. He then introduced the person beside him. This is my elder brother, Chongqing Long Hao. I've always heard that the holy successor of the Nam Huang clan is extraordinary, but it's very rare for me to meet you in person. Now that I've met you, you are even more heroic than the rumors. Chongqing Long Hao smiled. Prince Long Hao praises me too much. Nanfeng Mingyue smiled. She naturally knew that Chongqing Long Hao was the son of Chongqing the Great. So it's Qin Wentian's brother Qin. At this moment, an immortal king riding on a giant elephant glanced over and smiled. Back then in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, Sir Qin and the holy successor of the Nam Huang clan were famous in the Sacred Academy. They roasted white tiger meat and invited everyone to share it. Now that I've met Sir Qin and the holy successor of the Southern Phoenix clan, it's truly extraordinary. Qin Wentian frowned. His expression was cold as he stared at the person who spoke. That immortal king riding on a giant elephant was a powerful character from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom. The purpose of his words was extremely clear. He wanted to sow discord among the White Tiger people. This matter was a great humiliation to the White Tiger people. For this, the White Tiger people even sent White Tiger demon emperors to the eastern regions to participate in the immortal war in the Evergreen Kingdom Palace. However, they returned with no results. After that, they activated the adjudication but failed again. It could be said that they had lost a great deal of face. And as expected, at this moment, the experts from the White Tiger people glanced in the direction of Qin Wentian as terrifying baleful auras radiated from them. You are Qin Wentian. A demon king from the White Tiger people coldly spoke, his eyes flashing with killing intent. Qin Wentian calmly glanced at him and ignored him. He turned his gaze to the experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom as he coldly spoke, other than the White Tiger people, I've killed many from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom as well. The adjudication you all launched was a complete failure. Now that you all see me, you actually still dare to speak such nonsense. I truly admire you all, your skin is so thick that it makes me blush with shame. Hee, things are truly different after stepping into the Immortal King realm. You all are even more arrogant now. An expert from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom coldly spoke. Huang Shatian, so that person is none other than your mortal enemy, Qin Wentian. At this moment, from another direction, another person glanced over as he spoke. Qin Wentian glanced over only to see that the experts from the Nine Emperors' immortal state had arrived. Among the experts from the Nine Emperors' immortal state, there was a person who was exceptionally conspicuous. The genius of the 9 emperors' immortal state, Wuxia Tian. His aura was much more reserved compared to before, no longer as dazzling as before. However, he seemed to be even more dangerous now. Also, his cultivation base was actually at the Immortal King realm. To be able to do so in such a short period of time, this was extremely rare. As expected of a peak-level character from the 9 emperors' immortal state. When Qin Wentian glanced at Huang Shatian, their gazes intersected. From Huang Shaishan's eyes, he could see battle intent as well as complicated emotions. Huang Shaishan's feelings towards Qin Wentian were too complicated. From the time Qin Wentian managed to escape death, to a draw, and finally to his defeat, he thought that he would be able to cleanse his humiliation by breaking through to the Immortal King realm first. But now, Qin Wentian had already broken through to the Immortal King realm. Huang Shatian, you can be considered quite famous in the central regions and are known as the #1 genius of the younger generation of the 9 emperors' immortal state. Now that you have broken through to the Immortal King realm, why don't you step forward and fight against your mortal enemy? That voice rang out once more. The person who spoke was an immortal king from another major power in the central regions, the Sunluo Immortal Empire. This person was incomparably tyrannical, exuding a fearsome aura. Yen Luo Tian, if you feel that you are extraordinary and think that my reputation is undeserved, you can step forward and fight against him yourself. Huang Shatian calmly spoke. He would naturally fight against Qin Wentian. However, this Yen Luotian's words contained a hint of arrogance. Huang Shatian was filled with disdain because he knew what sort of character he was. He also understood what sort of character Qin Wentian was. The immortal realms are still at the Immortal Foundation realm, right? He just broke through to the Immortal King realm a few years ago and he wants to fight against me? Yen Luo Tian laughed. Huang Shatian, you truly think too highly of him. You think too highly of yourself as well. You think too highly of yourself. Huang Shatian emotionlessly spoke. Compared to the sharpness he displayed in the past, Huang Shatian seemed to have changed after fighting against Qin Wentian so many times. Bzz. At this moment, a sedan flew over. Princess Kitamura was inside. She stared at Qin Wentian as she coldly spoke, you still dare to appear before me? Yu Huang, back then when we parted in the royal palace of the Hokage Sengoku Kingdom, I missed you a lot. Qin Wentian smiled gently at Princess Kitamura. A moment later, a cold intent gushed forth from Princess Kitamura, you are truly impudent. As she spoke, the sedan directly shattered as Princess Kitamura walked out from within, revealing a flawlessly beautiful countenance. Her jade-like bones and ice-like skin exuded an incomparable coldness. Yu Huang, I'm speaking the truth. The things that happened back then are still vivid in my mind. Qin Wentian seemed to be filled with nostalgia. Shut up. Princess Kitamura radiated coldness from her, not allowing Qin Wentian to speak of those things. When she saw the smile on that bastard's face, she wanted nothing more than to act against him. But this fellow said that he had an avatar. If she acted against him, he would spread rumors to slander her. Yu Huang, such a shameless person should be killed directly. Pei Qing walked over, coldly staring at Qin Wentian. Who is this fellow exactly? Why does it feel like he knows everyone here and has offended so many enemies? Someone stared at Qin Wentian in astonishment. The eastern region of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, the western region of the White Tiger people, the central region of the 9 Emperors' immortal state, and the northern region of the Princess Kitamura. Did he offend all the major powers in the immortal realms? This person is Qin Wentian. Back then when the Tiandao Sacred Academy opened, he was extremely dazzling and rose up within a short 100 years. Right now, he has already broken through to the Immortal King realm and is the son-in-law of Chongqing the Great, a disciple of the immortal Qianbian Gate. Someone spoke in a low voice. Chapter 1408. Rising up within 100 years. However, isn't this man a little too gutsy? He even dared to tease Princess Yu Huang of the Hokage Sengoku Kingdom. Now, Princess Yu Huang is already an immortal emperor. Someone couldn't help but to sigh. As people of the northern regions, they naturally heard more about Princess Kitamura. They didn't have such strong feelings for the geniuses of the other regions, but they were very familiar with how outstanding Princess Kitamura was. That's the truth. The two sentences of this fellow caused people to misunderstand, as though he had a story with Princess Yu Huang. Princess Yu Huang seemed to be very angry and wanted to stop him from speaking. What's more interesting is that it happened in the royal palace of the Hokage Sengoku Kingdom. This many people couldn't understand. Although Qin Wentian was an immortal king, no matter how outstanding he was, how could he subdue Princess Yu Huang in the royal palace of the Hokage Sengoku Kingdom? Qin Wentian didn't care about the words of everyone. His gaze landed on Pei Qing as a cold light flashed in his eyes. Back then in the royal palace, weren't you embarrassed enough? Now, you dare to spout nonsense again. Now, you should know who I am and my cultivation history. Do you know if what I said back then was true or not? You want to flaunt your talent in front of me? Isn't smacking your face loud enough? Fighting with Pei Qing again. This fellow is simply a baleful god, he dares to antagonize everyone, even immortal emperors are no exception. Many people were dumbfounded. This Qin Wentian was a little too arrogant. He had enemies everywhere in the immortal realms. Could it be that he wasn't afraid? What can a moment of outstanding cultivation represent? In the immortal realms, it's unknown how many geniuses cultivated at an extremely fast speed, rising up like comets. However, they were merely short-lived, falling like shooting stars. Only when you can stand at my height would you have the qualifications to stand before me. If not, what qualifications do you have to speak to me? Pei Qing spoke arrogantly. In the past, when your junior apprentice brother challenged me, you swore that if you lost, you would apologize to me. But after you lost, you still maintained this attitude and directly left. Right now, you even put on such a face. How disgusting. Do you think I'm willing to see this face of yours? Qin Wentian stared at Pei Qing as he coldly spoke, this is the matter between me and Yu Huang, why are you interfering? When has Baiming Yu Huang ever bothered with you? How shameless. You. Pei Qing pointed at Qin Wentian with killing intent in his eyes. Don't point your finger at me. You are at the immortal emperor realm, I naturally can't win against you. But if you act against me, it's only natural that my elders, who are watching from the shadows, kill you. Qin Wentian had no fear as he spoke, his words causing the eyes of everyone to flash. For the experts from the major powers here, many of them were at the immortal king realm. There were only a few immortal emperors, but since so many powerful characters have arrived, there should be many immortal emperors watching from the shadows. Also, for those from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom and the White Tiger people, for those who want to kill me or incite discord, do it yourself. I will accept all challenges from those on the same level as me. If you don't dare to, just shut up. Qin Wentian swept his gaze over everyone, exuding a domineering coldness. His gaze then turned to the experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom and Sanluo Immortal Empire, as well as the Sanluo Immortal Empire. In any case, he had already offended them. He didn't mind offending them even more. For those who wanted to be his enemy, he would accept them all. For those who wanted to fight, as long as they were on the same level, they would accept it. As for those with a higher cultivation base, there were many who had a higher cultivation base than him. In fact, there were even those who were at the same level as Pei Qing. Qin Wentian wasn't foolish enough to accept all challenges. If he did so, he would simply be courting death. Arrogant. Everyone stared at Qin Wentian. This fellow was truly too arrogant. It said that he just broke through to the Immortal King realm, but he actually dared to provoke those who had prejudice against him. As long as they were on the same level as him, he would accept them all. And as expected, the moment the sound of his voice faded, the atmosphere instantly turned much quieter. Everyone here were from the various peak powers. Qin Wentian has already spoken. Either they come up and fight or they shut their mouths. If they didn't dare to fight, they would only be asking for trouble. Brother Qin, you are so elegant. A person laughed as he walked out. Qin Wentian turned his gaze over and saw a familiar figure. It was none other than the opponent he met when he was helping Nam Huang Yunshi to seize the position of the holy successor in the southern regions of the Immortal Realms, Jiang Ziyu. This person was mysterious yet extremely powerful. He was proficient in the Buddhist path, and back then, his cultivation base was higher than Qin Wentian. After that, he also entered the Tiandao Sacred Academy for cultivation and headed to the Myriad Devil Islands. Right now, he was actually already at the Immortal King realm, causing Qin Wentian to feel shock in his heart. From Immortal Foundation to the Immortal King realm, it was extremely difficult to break through. Although Jiang Ziyu's cultivation base was higher than his back then, his cultivation speed wasn't slow. Yet, Jiang Ziyu was actually able to keep up with him. One could only say that his talent was extremely high. The Jiang clan of the south possesses many mysterious and unfathomable divine abilities and even secret arts. Out of the three ancient clans of the south, the Jiang clan has always been the most mysterious and most low-profile. The Ying clan is the most high-profile and has expanded their territory the most, but the Jiang clan has never shown any signs of decline. That's because although there aren't many heaven chosen of the Jiang clan out there, every single one of them is extremely powerful. Nanfeng Mingyue, who was at the side, transmitted her voice to Qin Wentian. Jiang Ziyu is from the same generation as you. The person beside him is named Jiang Zihua and is from the same generation as me. He's extremely terrifying. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed as he glanced at Jiang Zihua, who was beside Jiang Ziyu. This person was extremely handsome and had an incomparably clean appearance. His cultivation base was also very high, much higher than Qin Wentian. It has been many days since we last met. Brother Jiang is still as radiant as ever. Qin Wentian smiled, feigning civility. The first time I met Brother Qin, I already knew that Brother Qin would definitely be outstanding in the future. Now, as expected, you actually rose up in a short tens of years, stepping into the Immortal King realm. The words I said to Brother Qin back then are still valid. If Brother Qin is willing to come to my Jiang clan as a guest, we will definitely treat you as an esteemed guest. Jiang Ziyu smiled. If there's a chance, I will definitely go. Back then, he felt that Jiang Ziyu didn't have any good intentions. But since Jiang Ziyu didn't fall out with him, he naturally wouldn't intentionally make enemies. I'm filled with anticipation. Jiang Ziyu laughed. Since when did the descendants of the Jiang clan like to bootlick the smelly feet of others? An arrogant voice rang out. The person who spoke was clad in royal robes, exuding an imposing aura. This was none other than one of the three great ancient clans of the Nam Huang clan, the Ying clan. The Ying clan had the largest territory and appeared to be the strongest on the surface. Back then, the juniors of the Ying clan also had some conflicts with Qin Wentian. But at the Immortal King realm, it was unknown if the Immortal King of the Ying clan would care about such minor matters. A dog's mouth can't spit out ivory. Jiang Zihua glanced at the person who spoke. That person's expression turned cold as he tyrannically stepped forward. He then spoke to Jiang Zihua. Many people say that you are the most outstanding Immortal King of the Jiang clan in this generation. I have always wanted to spar with you. Anytime. Jiang Zihua only replied with a single word. After that, the auras of the experts from the Ying clan gushed forth as they stared at each other. The adjudication battle of the Immortal Realms caused many major powers of the eastern regions to join forces, including you, Huang Shatian, but you were defeated by Qin Wentian. Not only that, many people from the Tiandao Sacred Academy were killed, and even the White Tiger people were roasted alive. Under such circumstances, when Qin Wentian came here, all of you actually dared to stand there and watch the show. In fact, even when he provoked you, none of you dared to fight. What a joke! An ethereal voice rang out. It was unknown who was the one who spoke. The other party was proficient in secret arts and seemed to be intentionally provoking conflict. Hiding your head but showing your tail. If you have something to say, just come out and say it. A sharp voice rang out. It was a powerful sword king from the Supreme Sword School. He stood there, radiating boundless sword might. Many people from the Supreme Sword School should have died as well. Why? You don't have the ability to take revenge? Why are you looking for me? Why should I come out? That voice rang out once more, coming from all directions. In the direction of the Supreme Sword School, a young immortal king sat on a sword. Intense sword intent radiated from him as sword chi gushed out ferociously at any moment. He just broke through to the immortal king realm, it's easy to defeat him. But what's the point? There are immortal emperors spying on us in the dark. If we kill him, we would surely be stopped. Why is there a need to fight? The young man sat on the sword as he calmly spoke. His cultivation base was the same as Qin Wentian, at the initial stage of the immortal king realm. However, he was already at the peak of this realm and could break through to the mid-stage at any moment. This young man exuded a paragon sword intent and was extremely extraordinary. His tone was filled with confidence. That's right. This time around, we came here because of the commotion in the desolate 10,000 mountain range. Could it be that we want to start a war between immortal emperors? An Empyrean from the Taihua immortal dynasty spoke. He was dressed in ancient robes and exuded the aura of a king. This time around, there are many outstanding immortal kings from the various major powers here. Upon seeing so many experts from the various major powers gathered here, many people felt their hearts trembling. Killing him is too lenient. I'll eat him alive. An even more tyrannical voice rang out. Everyone turned their gazes over, only to see an immortal king manifesting a pair of wings as he soared through the air. Above him, there was a king riding on an immortal king, using an immortal king as a mount. From this, one could see how tyrannical this white tiger was. Sir Qin, there are so many people who want to deal with you. A light laugh rang out. This time around, the one who spoke was a beautiful maiden. In addition, it was actually a fairy from the Jadestage Immortal Palace. Before this, I heard a junior sister mentioning Sir Qin. I didn't expect that Sir Qin has already broken through to the Immortal King realm. Congratulations. That fairy from the Jadestage Immortal Palace smiled. Many thanks, fairy. Qin Wentian glanced at her and nodded with a smile. He then casually glanced at the person beside the fairy, a supreme beauty. Qin Wentian knew that there were too many major powers here in the immortal realms this time around. In addition, there were many supreme geniuses among them. Look at those demonic beasts, they are all stirring. At this moment, a cry of shock rang out. Those demonic beasts all started to move. After that, countless demonic beasts actually prostrated themselves on the ground, kneeling, as though they were worshipping, welcoming their king. From afar, terrifying waves of demonic might gushed over, powerful to an inconceivable extent. That demonic chi seemed to be able to crush everything. The countless greater demons on the mountain range, including the demon kings among them, were all kneeling on the ground. In that case, what sort of existence would the one who was about to arrive be? Are the demons from the desolate 10,000 mountain range really going to invade the immortal realms? Many people temporarily tossed aside their grudges as they turned their gazes over. Numerous terrifying auras gushed over. The immortal senses of everyone gushed out, but their immortal senses were actually shattered by the tyrannical immortal sense attacks. After that, the demonic beasts all groaned as they prostrated themselves on the ground, welcoming their king. Chapter 1409. The experts of the immortal realms all turned their gazes over. Their immortal senses could faintly see a group of terrifying demonic beasts moving over. Finally, a violent wave of demonic chi gushed over, exuding the aura of a king. The countless demonic beasts in the mountain range prostrated themselves on the ground, appearing extremely pious, welcoming their king. The king that walked out wasn't in the form of a demonic beast but was in the form of a human. Also, it wasn't just a single faction. The royal tribe of the desolate mountains? An expert spoke in a low voice. In the air, a group of experts stepped out. Without exception, all of them were actually immortal emperors. This was especially so for the immortal emperors of the northern regions. They had long arrived here and were observing the situation here. Right now, when they saw the royal tribe of the desolate mountains walking out, they also appeared. The royal tribe of the desolate mountains? Everyone felt shock in their hearts. Just like their immortal realms, the desolate mountains were governed by the strongest races. Just like the peak powers of their immortal realms. For those experts of the desolate mountains who walked out, the weakest among them were all at the immortal king realm and were referred to as demon kings. Terrifying auras radiated from them. Each of them was an extraordinary character, just like the white tiger race or sky rock race of the western regions. The desolate mountains was truly a world that belonged to demons. The demonic beasts there had even existed since ancient times. After countless years, no one knew how terrifying they were. Once, the demonic beasts of the desolate mountains wreaked havoc in the immortal realms, almost unifying the entire immortal realms. It was only because of the birth of ancient emperors that the situation was reversed. Right now, it has been too long since there was a commotion in the desolate mountains. This time around, the entire immortal realms were shaken. Many people from the immortal realms have arrived. One of the demonic beasts calmly spoke. His tone was incomparably calm, filled with incomparable arrogance. Although this demonic beast exuded the aura of a demon king, he was also in human form. His entire body was black and he was clad in a thick black and white robe. Only the robe was fluttering in the wind. On his head, there was actually a long horn that wasn't concealed. Underworld demon race. One of the great northern emperors stared at the figure in front of him, who was hidden in a large straw raincoat, and a cold glint flashed across his eyes. The peak powers of the northern regions naturally had more research on the demonic beasts in the desolate 10,000 mountain range. They had also read through many ancient records regarding the desolate 10,000 mountain range and had some understanding of some of the ancient races. Demonic beasts were different from humans. Humans might give birth to a powerful clan because of the appearance of a peerless talent, but they might decline and be destroyed because there was no powerful talent, and so on and so forth. Demonic beasts, on the other hand, were destined to be kings since birth. They were born with innate talent, and they relied more on their innate talent. The Nether Ao was also known as the Karma Beast. It was an extremely terrifying ancient great demon. They were incomparably cruel and even liked to eat humans. According to the ancient records, when the desolate demonic beasts wreaked havoc in the world, the Nether Ao was one of the cruelest demonic beasts. You are quite knowledgeable. That demonic expert from the Nether Ao race laughed lightly. Your immortal realms have already occupied this region for a very long time, and even entered the desolate 10,000 mountain range to hunt demonic beasts as a tempering exercise for you humans. We couldn't be bothered with that. But now, it's about time for you all to scram and leave Skybreak City. As for those humans who didn't leave, just treat them as tributes. After so many years, you all have killed many demonic beasts. The desolate 10,000 mountain range and the immortal realms have always been separated from each other, and have never interfered with each other for countless years. Now that you all have come out, you want to take the lives of an entire city. An immortal emperor from the 100 Refinements sect coldly spoke. This person exuded a terrifying aura as a terrifying refinement intent radiated from him. Just a city and you all actually dare to reject. Another demonic expert spoke. This person had a muscular build and his eyes gleamed with a terrifying azure light, causing people to not dare to look directly at him. His entire body was red and with every breath he took, two completely different auras of fire and ice could be felt, causing the temperature in the area to fluctuate, extremely terrifying. It's rumored that there's a torch dragon race in the desolate 10,000 mountain range. They can control day and night, water and fire. You all should be greater demons from the torch dragon race, right? Someone glanced at the demon who spoke. Yes. That expert's eyes gleamed with a terrifying light. In the blink of an eye, the sky changed color, turning into night. However, in just an instant, the sky turned bright again. Such innate abilities caused the hearts of everyone to tremble. This was a talent bestowed to them by the heavens, something they were born with. There's no need to speak so much nonsense. Just scram. A female voice rang out. The one who spoke was an extremely charming woman. It felt like just a single glance at her would cause one to fall into oblivion. Nine-tailed demon fox. An immortal emperor spoke. These were all demons from the desolate mountain range that were recorded in the ancient records. Those are experts from the Cheongchi race, Taowu race and Taotai race. Someone turned his gaze over and saw that these infamous demons were actually gathered together. They were surrounding a young woman whose entire body was covered in white. This woman's skin was also white. She looked incomparably weak, but it was precisely such a weak person that was so dazzling that she was respected by all the demons. Beside her stood a young man who exuded an unparalleled might. He was clad in armor and was a member of the Qilin demon clan. This woman, is she the legendary saint beast of the desolate mountains, the mount of a demon god, the Bays? The Bays was the mount of an ancient demon god, a saint beast. Only when the demon god of the demon world was born would the Bays appear in the world and willingly become a mount for the demon god. It possessed a myriad of transformations and no one would be able to see through its transformations. The immortal emperors of the various immortal realms all had heavy expressions on their faces. One by one, the legendary kings of the desolate mountains appeared. They stared at these demons, wanting to recognize them all. The evil god race, it's rumored that they are the descendants of the evil god of the demon world. They cultivate the evilest energy in the world. The Heavenhold race, their appearance is very similar to humans. Their bodies are small and weak but they have the strength of a demon god, able to lift the heavens. They are also proficient in using divine bows and spears, extremely terrifying. The Devil Ape race, boundless strength and unparalleled defense. Even the Foarok race has appeared. Some immortal emperors glanced at the group of experts at the back. They all had resplendent blood-red wings and exuded an incomparably lofty aura of kings. These were the Foarok race, the descendants born from the union of a great rock and a phoenix. It was rumored that once, the Tianping people and the phoenix race were irreconcilable enemies. The battles between them were extremely intense but under a stroke of good fortune, a greater demon of the Tianping people and a greater phoenix got together, giving birth to the first Foarok. This Foarok wasn't tolerated by the two great demon races and had to flee to the desolate mountains, narrowly escaping with his life. But in the end, he actually managed to fuse the talents of both races and defeated them, becoming the unrivaled king of the two races. After that, this Foarok unified the two races and allowed them to coexist. After generations of union, the Foarok race was born. There was also a branch of Tianping people that didn't listen to the orders of the Tianping people of the immortal realms. From this, one could very well imagine how terrifying the combination of a great rock and a phoenix was. A supreme king race of the desolate 10,000 mountain range. When the immortal emperors of the immortal realms saw this supreme king race that came from the desolate 10,000 mountain range, their hearts trembled. What major event was going to happen in the desolate 10,000 mountain range exactly? Were they really going to invade the immortal realms? There were also some demons that transformed into humans that didn't have any special traits but were all extremely terrifying. There were countless demons in the desolate 10,000 mountain range, and there were even many demons like the Foarok race that had fused with each other. All of them were extremely terrifying. Those immortal kings of the immortal realms all had heavy expressions on their faces. These fellows before them were all extremely terrifying, truly causing them to feel a sense of threat. Once, when the Tiandao Sacred Academy opened, there was a secret realm in one of the sacred academies that contained the wills of all sorts of greater demons. It was extremely difficult to defeat them. But right now, these people before them were all supreme greater demons with terrifying reputations. Everyone, what do you guys want Skybreak City for exactly? An immortal emperor asked. You guys speak too much nonsense. If you still don't scram, the greater demons of the desolate mountains will directly invade the immortal realms. A young man clad in golden armor coldly spoke. Although he was in the form of a human, his entire body was made of gold and emitted a boundless golden radiance. On his body that was made of gold, one could faintly see the terrifying light of the sun, piercing the eyes of others. He also had a pair of golden sun wings on his back, simply terrifying. This young man resembled a golden-colored ancient beast, but he also resembled a sunbird or a golden crow. In truth, he was also a mutated demonic beast. Although all of you came from the desolate mountains, if you guys think that you guys alone can invade the immortal realms, isn't that a little too ridiculous? Pei Qin coldly spoke. As an immortal emperor, he naturally had the qualifications to speak. Although the demon kings of the desolate mountains were incomparably powerful, there were only a few demon emperors among them. They were still far from being able to compare to them. Could it be that you guys want the kings of our races to personally descend? Another greater demon laughed cruelly. If that's the case, it wouldn't be as simple as just wanting Skybreak City. The demonic beasts of the desolate 10,000 mountain range are rebelling, actually wanting us to leave Skybreak City. What's the reason for this exactly? A human named Wuxia coldly laughed. Could it be that something major is happening in the desolate 10,000 mountain range and you don't want the people of the immortal realms to see it? Humans are truly difficult to deal with. The greater demons silently mused as powerful demonic chi gushed forth from them. Baze then spoke, the descent of the demon god, the desolate 10,000 mountain range welcomes our lord. This has nothing to do with your immortal realms. If you guys want to interfere, I can give you two choices. 1. We can start a war and our desolate 10,000 mountain range will invade the immortal realms. 2. You guys can choose a batch of immortal kings to fight one-on-one with us. If you guys win, we will immediately retreat. If you guys lose, you guys have to leave Skybreak City immediately. The greater demons silently watched, their expressions cold. Demonic chi engulfed the area. No matter which path they chose, the humans of the immortal realms would definitely lose. There was no need to doubt this. Their demon race has been developing in the desolate 10,000 mountain range for so many years. Right now, they have already reached a golden age, welcoming the arrival of a golden age. The various demon kings of the desolate mountains were all extremely powerful. How could these humans stand against them? The demonic beasts they sent into the immortal realms have already investigated the situation of the human race. Although it was also a golden age and many geniuses appeared, they were still far from being comparable to the demon kings of the desolate 10,000 mountain range. Chapter 14:10. The demons of the demon race were warlike, chaotic and disorderly. In truth, they weren't too different from humans. Similarly, the demon kings of the desolate 10,000 mountain range were all fighting for supremacy. This time around, these powerful demons from the desolate 10,000 mountain range were actually so united, resisting against the immortal realms. From this, one could see that something major was about to happen in the desolate 10,000 mountain range. This was why they were temporarily unified. Invading the immortal realms? The expressions of everyone grew unsightly. They didn't have much understanding of the strength of the desolate 10,000 mountain range, but no matter who was stronger or weaker, once the desolate 10,000 mountain range attacked the immortal realms would definitely be in a miserable state. Especially for the northern regions of the immortal realms, they would be the first to suffer the brunt of the attacks. The ending would be extremely terrifying. Even if they won in the end, it would be a bitter victory. How should we fight against immortal kings? An immortal emperor from the immortal realms asked. This base demoness was incomparably domineering, there was no way they could reject her. If they had to choose, they could only choose to fight against immortal kings. This time around, many of the experts from the immortal realms who came here were supreme geniuses from the various peak powers. Even if they were to face against the kings of the desolate mountains, they would still be able to put up a fight. Up to you all. You can send out your people first, or we can send out our people. We will fight until you all no longer wish to fight. Naturally, it has to be a fight between people at the same level, and we are not allowed to borrow the power of treasures during the fight. The voice of the base demoness drifted faintly. She was mysterious and powerful, and was a greater demon at the immortal king realm. Her pure white body exuded a demonic sense of beauty, as well as a hint of holiness. Baze was the mount of a demon god. Right. The immortal emperors could only agree. They glanced at the experts from the various peak powers. Almost half of them were gathered here, and many of them were peak-stage immortal king geniuses. They hoped that they would be able to win against these greater demons from the desolate 10,000 mountain range. Upon seeing the immortal emperors agreeing, the faces of the greater demons of the desolate mountains all had cold smiles of disdain. These humans of the immortal realms wanted to fight against them, the greater demons of the desolate mountains. At this moment, the silhouette of a greater demon stepped out. This was none other than the young demon king from the desolate mountains. His body was burly and his entire body radiated golden light. There was a sun diagram on his body, and a pair of golden sun wings could be seen on his back, incomparably dazzling. As for his cultivation base, he was at the mid-stage of the demon king realm, equivalent to a mid-stage immortal king. Is there a magic treasure battlistage? You humans love to study these things. That young man spoke with disdain. After that, a human immortal emperor waved his hand as an incomparably gigantic battle platform appeared between the humans and the demons of the desolate mountains. It expanded in size, forming a dimension of its own within. There's a lot of space inside, enough to support all battles under the great emperor realm. That immortal emperor spoke. The golden sun demon king stepped out, directly passing through the screen of light, not worried at all that the humans might try to trick him. With him from the royal clan of the demon world here, if the humans of the immortal realms dared to try anything funny, he would trample them all to the ground. Who wants to come? A golden spear appeared in his hands. The flames of the sun gushed forth, capable of melting everything. He pointed the spear at the immortal realm expert as he coldly spoke. The eyes of the immortal kings of the immortal realms gleamed with sharpness. They were all extraordinary characters, there was naturally no need for immortal emperors to point them out. They would naturally weigh the pros and cons themselves, deciding whether or not to accept the challenge. Very swiftly, a powerful immortal king from the immortal realms stepped out. This immortal king also cultivated in fire attribute energy. His entire body was bathed in flames and was already at the peak stage of the mid-stage of the immortal king realm. He stepped onto the battle platform, exuding a terrifying aura. His entire body was shrouded in flames, instantly enveloping his opponent. A terrifying flame giant appeared, blasting out a palm imprint towards his opponent. A law domain of humans from the immortal realms? The greater demon from the golden sun demon race laughed in disdain. His entire body abruptly spewed forth golden flames that resembled the flames of the sun. They gushed forth ferociously, wanting to melt everything, causing that incomparably powerful flame giant to be melted into golden flames, becoming part of his strength. The countenance of the human immortal king changed. After that, he only saw Qin Wentian stepping out of the platform. His golden wings flapped as he directly appeared before the human immortal king. The golden sun spear in his hands erupted forth with a speed faster than lightning. The human immortal king wanted to retreat, but the golden sun demon king's spear still pierced out. After that, a supreme golden light radiated forth, causing the entire space to be filled with golden energy. The space actually froze, blocking the human immortal king's retreat. Pooh! When the human immortal king's countenance drastically changed, the golden sun spear shot out with towering sun flames. With a thunderous boom, it directly broke through the defenses of the human immortal king and pierced into his heart. After that, terrifying sun flames erupted from the spear, burning the golden spear together with the golden sun spear. That human immortal king had a look of despair on his face. After that, his body also transformed into golden flames, melting away bit by bit. He screamed in agony, but it was already too late. In just an instant, his body that was melted by the golden sun flames turned into liquid that flowed downwards unceasingly. Finally, his entire body completely transformed into golden flames that froze there. Can't even withstand a single strike. Is this the strength of a human immortal king? That immortal king from the golden sun demon race glanced in the direction of the human immortal king. After that, he turned and left the battle platform, as though he couldn't be bothered to continue fighting. The expression of the human immortal king, Wuxia, changed. Although the immortal king who went to fight earlier wasn't the most outstanding one, he was still an extraordinary existence. A peak stage mid-stage immortal king actually died from a single strike. The strength of this immortal king was simply too terrifying. Sun flames, golden energy, the two of them actually complement each other. He has the bloodline of the golden crow, the sun bird, as well as the bloodline of a golden ancient demon. The sun bird is said to be able to refine everything in the world, while the golden crow demon race's attacks and defenses are all extremely powerful. Someone spoke in a low voice. His combat prowess was simply too terrifying. Only immortal kings who stood at the peak of the immortal realms would be able to contend against him. Bzz. Another greater demon from the demonic beast race leaped onto the platform. This demonic beast was also in human form. He was thin and weak, with a protruding mouth and cheeks like an old monkey. He was extremely ugly, but his eyes gleamed with a terrifying light. He stared at the crowd and asked, "Who wants to challenge me?" Be careful, this demon is from the Heavenhold race. Although he is ugly and as thin as a monkey, his strength is boundless, able to lift the heavens and transform his body. He is a member of the supreme ancient immortal realms and has an inheritance of countless years. His innate techniques are extremely powerful, so you have to be careful. An immortal emperor from the northern regions spoke. They were defeated miserably in the first battle. This time around, they had to warn everyone not to be careless. They had to send out the strongest experts in order to have a chance of victory. Sizzle, sizzle. That Heavenhold race demon bared his ugly teeth at the immortal emperor who spoke, smiling evilly. Insulting him for being ugly? He would definitely pay the price. I'll go. An extraordinary immortal king stepped out. He had a huge saber on his back and his entire body radiated a boundless sharpness. At the instant he stepped onto the battle platform, his saber intent engulfed the entire area. From the feeling, if such an expert acted, he would definitely be able to tear that skinny and ugly demonic beast into shreds. It's Saber Fool. The eyes of many spectators in Skybreak City flashed as a look of shock appeared on their faces. Saber Fool used his saber techniques to enter the Tao and was an immortal king. He was extremely famous in Skybreak City and his saber techniques were extremely powerful. Chi. In just an instant, the power of his saber domain gushed forth, enveloping the entire platform. Only to see Saber Addict unsheathing his saber. It was an extremely simple and unadorned saber, but in his hands, no matter how ordinary a saber was, it was still a divine weapon of the highest quality. As his saber slashed downwards, the entire space seemed as though it was about to be cleaved into two. The speed of this saber was as fast as lightning, instantly arriving before the skinny figure from the Heavenhold race, about to be cleaved into two. Boom! The entire platform trembled. Everyone only saw that skinny monkey-like figure raising his hands and directly grabbing onto the saber. His skinny hands actually managed to grab hold of the saber that was slashing down from Saberfool. Boundless strength, able to lift the heavens. The spectators felt their hearts trembling when they recalled the introduction of the Immortal Emperor earlier. Bang, bang, bang. The saber directly shattered, broken by the skinny arms. However, Saberfool's expression didn't change at all. With a slash of his palms, a myriad of saber intents manifested, transforming into a dazzling saber. An even more powerful saber technique was unleashed, causing a terrifying tempest to manifest in the air. No matter how fast the hands of the Heavenhold demon were, he wouldn't be able to block such a saber attack. As the sounds of slicing rang out, the saber slashed down. The body of the Heavenhold demon flickered, he was extremely agile. His palms blasted out like phantoms, shattering the sabers. However, there were still saber lights that landed on his body, causing fresh blood to spurt out. Good. The spectators couldn't help but to exclaim in admiration when they saw Saber Maniac executing his saber art. But at this moment, a thunderous roar rang out as that skinny figure abruptly expanded in size, resembling an ancient demonic beast. His appearance became even more hideous, but the baleful aura radiating from him caused the hearts of the spectators to tremble. You are courting death. The ugly Heavenhold demon stretched out his hand and smashed out with a terrifying speed. Saberfool's countenance changed as he executed a protective saber art. Bang! A terrifying rumbling sound rang out, Saberfool's saber art was directly interrupted. Even his saber was broken as his body was ruthlessly forced back. Boom, boom, boom. The Heavenhold demon continuously stepped out, causing thunderous booms to echo out from the platform. With every step he took, he would hurl out a gigantic boulder formed from demonic chi. When the boulders slammed down, it was like a meteor smashing into his body. Saberfool was smashed repeatedly and coughed out blood. He could no longer use his saber art. His body also expanded in size, transforming into a giant. However, his target became even more obvious. When the boulders smashed into his head directly exploded. This, too brutal. Wuxia from the Immortal Realms had a look of sorrow and anger on his face when he saw such a brutal massacre. His eyes gleamed with coldness, but the Heavenhold demon merely glanced at them, showing no fear at all. His ugly eyes gleamed with killing intent as he roared in rage, who else wants to come up and die? Chapter 1411. Although the greater demon from the Heavenhold race was extremely cruel, causing the experts of the Immortal Realms to be incomparably enraged, his strength was truly tyrannical. Seems like the rumors weren't false. If this greater demon cultivated to the extreme, he would truly be able to lift the heavens. This demon race was born with innate divine strength and was the descendant of a greater demon from the desolate mountain range. They were ugly and baleful, and their boundless strength granted them terrifying throwing abilities. Just a rock thrown by them was like a meteor smashing down. Even the powerful Saber Maniac's head was smashed by them. First, there was a greater demon from the Gold Sun race. Now, there was a greater demon from the Heavenhold mountain range. No wonder these demons from the desolate mountain range were so confident. They firmly believed that the Immortal Realms would lose no matter what. Staring at the greater demons from the desolate mountain range, the eyes of the experts from the Immortal Realms gleamed with sharpness. Facing the Heavenhold Greater Demon's challenge, they all felt some hesitation. Although it's a challenge, why must the demons be so cruel and kill so directly? If this is the case, if our immortal realms win, we won't show mercy either. An immortal emperor coldly spoke. 2 immortal kings died one after another. Even though they knew how strong the other party was, they still couldn't help but feel anger. Our desolate mountain range has always been like this. It's the same when we face challenges. Your immortal realms can't even withstand a single strike. Sooner or later, you will scram out of the immortal realms and let us demons rule the place. A greater demon arrogantly spoke. Since you have spoken like this, we won't be polite then. That immortal emperor's expression was cold as he stared at the geniuses of the immortal realms. Everyone, you have all seen the situation for yourselves. Many of you are supreme immortal kings from the various peak powers. Now that the demon race has spoken, you all have to step out and fight. I suggest that all the peak powers here send out their experts to fight. That's right, there are many experts from the peak powers here. It's about time for us to act. The immortal emperors of the northern domain spoke one after another. Everyone nodded. Before this, they were all spectating. Even those peak characters were observing the demons. They were truly powerful. Leaving aside those who didn't come out, just the 2 greater demons who fought earlier were truly supreme geniuses at the peak. If the experts from the various powers didn't step out, they wouldn't have any chance of victory. Fight or not? If not, scram out of Skybreak City. What's the point of talking so much nonsense? We will naturally deal with the people in this city. The Heavenhold Greater Demon coldly spoke. Shut up. Princess Kitamura coldly snorted as a cold intent gushed forth from her. These demonic beasts from the desolate mountains were simply too baleful, they actually wanted to slaughter the people of Skybreak City. Skybreak City was the barrier of the northern regions of the immortal realms, how could they abandon it? Even if there was no other choice, they had to protect the people of Skybreak City. The great demon of the Heavenhold race raised his head and glanced at Princess Kitamura. His ugly face cracked into a grin as he said, "The thing I like the most about humans is that there are many beautiful women among them. Although this woman is cold, her skin is tender and smooth. If she becomes my maid, she will definitely be able to play with me as much as I want." As he spoke, he began to laugh impudently. Impudent. An immortal emperor from the Hokage Sengoku kingdom coldly berated, "Ugly demon is causing too much trouble. Who is going to kill him?" Haha. The greater demon from the Heavenhold race laughed impudently. He then glanced at everyone, "There are many beauties here, some with pure auras and some with the bloodline of the phoenix. After we kill our way into the immortal realms, I will make all of them my maids and toy with them as I please." The expressions of many experts changed. The cold Princess Kitamura, the many maidens from the Jadestage Immortal Palace, the maidens from the Namhuang clan, and those with the bloodline of the phoenix, were naturally referring to them. The maidens from the Namhuang clan all had extraordinary demeanors. They had the bloodline of the phoenix and were extremely beautiful as well. Together with the maidens from the Jadestage Immortal Palace and the Jadestage Immortal Palace, they formed a beautiful scenery. "Holy Maiden Mingyue, I will go and kill him." A holy maiden spoke. Nanfeng Mingyue frowned, "These greater demons are all extremely powerful. It's going to be tough for you to deal with them." She could faintly sense that in order to deal with these greater demons, they had to send out their strongest immortal king experts. If not, they would simply be courting death. The strength of the Heavenhold demon race was simply invincible. This was their innate talent, something they were born with. An initial stage immortal king beast actually dares to be so impudent. Before this, didn't a certain someone say that he would allow the other major powers to challenge him? Now that the Namhuang clan is being humiliated, why doesn't he step out to fight? An expert from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom mocked. That greater demon from the Heavenhold race was at the peak stage of the initial stage of the Immortal King realm. In terms of cultivation base, he was on par with Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian glanced over only to hear a sword cultivator from the Supreme Sword School coldly speaking, "That's right. How arrogant were you earlier? Now that the demons from the Heavenhold race are provoking you, you still want to hide your strength and not act. I initially wanted to leave the opportunity to the various geniuses. But since no one is willing to fight, I shall act then." Qin Wentian stepped out as he emotionlessly spoke. "As for those trash who only dare to instigate others to cower and not dare to fight, stop embarrassing yourselves. If you want to fight, just fight it out yourselves. Not only are you not stepping out to fight now, you are even trying to incite others. The Tenlon Heaven Kingdom and the Supreme Sword School have truly thrown away the face of the immortal realms." As he spoke, he walked towards the battle platform. His words were filled with mockery, causing the expressions of the experts from the two major powers to turn cold. But when they thought about how they could borrow the hands of the demons to kill Qin Wentian, they understood. In any case, they all hoped that Qin Wentian would die. This greater demon from the Heavenhold race was incomparably tyrannical. If he was the one to kill Qin Wentian, it would naturally be for the best. They wouldn't need to bear the risk of revenge, and they could even incite conflict between the powers behind Qin Wentian and the demon world. "Yu Huang, this demon spoke rudely and humiliated you. How can I allow him to live? I will definitely kill him for you." Qin Wentian didn't forget to speak to Princess Kitamura, who was in the air. This woman was a famous immortal emperor and was extremely powerful. Also, they had a connection, and that old freak could be considered half a master to them. He didn't want to be remembered by Princess Kitamura. Hence, he teased her a little, wanting to pull the relationship between him and Princess Kitamura closer. This bastard. Princess Kitamura coldly stared at Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian actually dared to say such words in front of everyone. This clearly indicated that their relationship was extraordinary. And as expected, the gazes of many turned to Princess Kitamura, causing her to grit her teeth silently. How could this fellow be so shameless? "Yu Huang, there's no need to be agitated. Given the relationship between us, I will naturally do my best to help you." Qin Wentian spoke as he stepped onto the platform. He stared at the greater demon from the Heavenhold race and coldly spoke, "Ugly demon, you humiliated Yu Huang. You deserve death." The greater demon from the Heavenhold race grinned, coldly staring at Qin Wentian as he spoke, "Another one has come to court death." He hated it very much when people said that he was ugly. Hence, he was very angry now. The greater demon from the Heavenhold race grabbed out with his palm as a terrifying demonic chi gushed forth, condensing into a gigantic rock. He lifted his hand and smashed it towards Qin Wentian, causing the heavens and earth to rumble. When the gigantic rock flew out, rumbling sounds could be heard as it shattered everything. It gave off a feeling that even mid-stage immortal kings would be smashed to death if they were struck by it. Before this, Saberful's head was directly smashed apart. A terrifying divine glow circulated around Qin Wentian's body. He lifted his palms and punched out fiercely. With a deafening boom, the gigantic boulder shattered into pieces. However, the movements of the Heavenhold race's expert didn't stop. He continued to hurl out boulders. Each boulder was akin to a constellation descending from the sky, smashing downwards. His body grew larger and larger, causing Qin Wentian to appear extremely tiny in comparison. Being enveloped by the boulders, the entire space was on the verge of shattering. Qin Wentian was powerless to reverse the situation. He would definitely be smashed to death within. How powerful! Qin Wentian's heart trembled. The Heavenhold race was a remnant race of the supreme ancient immortal realms. Their innate talent was simply too powerful. Qin Wentian unleashed his law domain as tens of thousands of palm imprints blasted out frenziedly. The sky changed color as the palm imprints clashed against the gigantic rocks, wanting to shatter everything. Boom! The expert from the Heavenhold race stepped out when he saw this scene. A terrifying bow appeared in his hands as he directly hurled them forward. His arrows weren't shot out, but rather, they were hurled out with a much more ferocious speed, wanting to pin Qin Wentian to the ground. "Ugly demon, act mischievously!" Qin Wentian roared. The power of God's hand gushed forth from him, exuding boundless might. Terrifying devil might gushed forth unceasingly, transforming into bolts of lightning that shattered everything. Those arrows that were hurled over were all shattered before they could even get close. Boom! Qin Wentian's body also grew larger, becoming the same size as his opponent. He stepped out, exuding a towering aura. "So what if you are from the supreme ancient immortal realms? I will still suppress you all the same." Killing intent flashed in Qin Wentian's eyes. He agreed to act because he was truly enraged by this greater demon. Although he wasn't acquainted with the two immortal kings, they were killed so cruelly. This, in addition to the fact that these two immortal kings humiliated the maidens of the immortal realms and threatened to slaughter them, he originally wanted to teach these demons a ruthless lesson. God's hand activated a terrifying destructive devil palm imprint that blasted out, wanting to crush everything. His law domain manifested countless palm imprints that blasted out. The Heavenhold demon race expert roared in rage, wanting to shatter everything. Those palm imprints that got close to him were all destroyed by his attack. But at this moment, a gigantic palm imprint that radiated boundless runic light smashed over, wanting to shatter everything. The power contained within was so shocking that it shook the heavens and earth. He roared in rage as he blasted out with both his palms. Given his divine strength, there was nothing he wouldn't dare to receive. Boom! The palm imprint blasted downwards as a violent energy ravaged the area. The body of that expert from the Heavenhold race trembled violently as he froze on the spot. After that, he groaned in pain as he coughed out blood. Both his legs turned soft and his internal organs felt as though they were about to shatter. The destructive devil path energy gushed into his body, wreaking havoc. How could Qin Wentian let go of such an opportunity? Another palm imprint blasted out, incomparably tyrannical, wanting to crush everything. That Heavenhold demon had a look of despair on his face as he let out a roar of unwillingness. After that, a thunderous boom rang out as his gigantic body was directly smashed into smithereens. The tyrannical greater demon from the Heavenhold race was actually killed by a human, Wuxia, using such tyrannical methods. This was truly shocking. Chapter 14:12. Qin Wentian's body reverted back to normal. His aura dissipated as the violent qi flow also gradually faded. "Well killed," Wu Xiu praised. Before this, two immortal kings were brutally killed consecutively. Now, Qin Wentian's domineering performance finally allowed him to vent his anger, turning the tables and suppressing the arrogance of the greater demons of the desolate mountains. And on the other side, the greater demons of the desolate mountains all had cold expressions as they stared at Qin Wentian. This was especially so for the greater demon from the Heavenhold race. His ugly eyes flashed with a dense killing intent. The experts from the immortal realms are as many as the clouds. Don't think that you guys can suppress us easily. You guys used such brutal methods to kill us, we will return the favor. Qin Wentian glanced at the greater demons, his words causing one of them to have a cold smile on his face. Interesting, a mere human actually dares to be so arrogant before us, the greater demons of the desolate mountains. Someone go and kill him. A greater demon coldly spoke. However, Qin Wentian merely snorted coldly and continued, "If you guys continue to be stubborn, I will come up again." As he spoke, he walked down the platform. This battle wasn't a battle fought by him alone, it was a battle between the various peak powers of the immortal realms and the greater demons of the desolate mountains. He could sweep through them with ease when he was at the initial stage of the immortal king realm, but if he was the only one fighting, he would simply be courting death. From this, one could very well imagine how terrifying these greater demons were. The people from the Skymist Immortal Empire and Paragon Sword sect were urging him to fight because they naturally hoped that he would die in battle. Even if he didn't die in battle, he would still offend those greater demons. If he continued fighting alone and the other major powers didn't act, all the greater demons would be offended by him. By then, he would only be complying with the intentions of his enemies, the Skymist Immortal Empire and Paragon Sword sect. This was no different from courting death. Qin Wentian completely believed that when so many great demons wanted to kill him, not only would those people stand by and watch, they might even stab him in the back. Only when everyone worked together to deal with the great demons of the desolate land was the right way to go. Sure enough, as soon as Qin Wentian stepped out of the battle platform, he heard an immortal king of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom say, "Brother Qin is so strong, why don't you fight a few more battles, kill the prestige of those demons, and fight for the glory of our immortal region?" That's right. Could it be that Brother Qin isn't willing to contribute more to the immortal region? An expert from the Supreme Sword School echoed. Qin Wentian's gaze swept across the crowd. Cold, he stared at the person who had spoken and said, "It's fine if you didn't instigate me to act earlier. But now that I've already won a battle, you still dare to speak in such a manner. Do you want me to deal with all the demons of the desolate mountains by myself? Then what use does the immortal region have for you? Why don't you guys from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom and the Supreme Sword School scram and disband, joining the immortal Qianbian Gate instead? It's fine if you don't want to fight. Brother Qin, why must you speak in such an ugly manner?" Someone mocked. This doesn't seem to be a matter that concerns him alone. At this moment, there was someone who couldn't bear to continue listening. The person who spoke was none other than that supreme beauty from the Jadestage Immortal Palace. She glanced at the experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom and the Supreme Sword School. "The demons of the desolate mountains have already threatened us, yet you guys don't even think about fighting against them. Instead, you guys instigate Qin Wentian to fight alone. Have the peak powers of the eastern regions fallen to such a state? The people from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom and the Supreme Sword School are truly cowards." Another person mocked, disliking the people from these two peak powers. Qin Wentian could be considered to have helped the immortal realms vent their anger, yet these two peak powers only wanted internal strife, wanting nothing more than for Qin Wentian to die in battle. Enough. An immortal emperor from the 100 Refinements sect spoke. "Don't let the demons of the desolate mountains see us as a joke. It's already agreed that all the peak powers will send out people to fight. Since Qin Wentian has already fought, let's start from the peak powers of the eastern regions. Who will fight next?" Many people turned their gazes to the experts from the Supreme Sword School and the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom. The eyes of these two peak powers froze as someone coldly snorted. But at this moment, a figure walked out from the crowd of the Supreme Sword School. This person had a terrifying cultivation base, at the peak phase of the mid-stage of the Immortal King realm. He was clad in a simple sword-shaped robe and his brows were as sharp as swords. One's cultivation would cause one's demeanor to change. His entire demeanor was like a sword, an invincible sword. When he stepped out, although he didn't release his aura, everyone could still feel an intense sharpness from him. Many people from the Supreme Sword School had a look of respect on their faces when they stared at him. This time around, the experts from the various regions of the immortal realms are all gathered together, and we are also facing the powerful demons of the desolate mountains. Maybe, some of the peak characters from the various peak powers would appear before the world. Nanfeng Mingyue spoke in a low voice. Qin Wentian had already returned. He nodded his head when he heard Nanfeng Mingyue's words. Only extremely famous immortal emperors would be able to shake the world. Even for immortal kings, their fame would be limited to a small area. After all, the immortal realms were simply too vast, there would definitely be outstanding characters from the various peak powers. This time around, they might be able to see all of them. This person is a supreme character at the Immortal King level from the Supreme Sword School. His name is Shangguang Jiani and he once cultivated in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Nanfeng Mingyue spoke. Qin Wentian nodded. Back then, Nanfeng Mingyue might have also cultivated in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Hence, she knew who the supreme geniuses at the peak of the Immortal King level were. Shangguang Jiani from the Supreme Sword School walked up the platform. He closed his eyes and was incomparably quiet. At this moment, the entire world seemed to have fallen silent. This scene caused everyone to feel how terrifying this person was. The eyes of the demonic experts flashed. This time around, they were waiting for the immortal realms to send out their experts first because they wanted to observe the situation and choose which demonic experts to kill. This Shangguang Jiani caused them to feel a sense of threat. Boom! A Tao Tai stepped out. He was incomparably baleful and exuded a terrifying aura. This was an extremely famous ferocious beast of the desolate mountains. Although he was in human form, the position of his eyes was very low. If he transformed into a demon, his eyes would be below his armpits. The Tao Tai let out a low-sounding roar as his eyes gleamed with a terrifying coldness. However, Shangguang Jiani's eyes were still closed. It was like he had always been like this. He stood there, as though he was the only existence in this world. Bang! The Tao Tai stomped on the ground. Upon feeling the threat, he reverted to his original form. A moment later, an incomparably gigantic ferocious beast appeared before the crowd, incomparably terrifying. Bang! Another thunderous sound rang out. The Tao Tai stepped on the platform and moved forward, as though he was observing Shangguang Jiani. At this instant, a boundless sword might suddenly enveloped this entire space. Only the sword might and sword intent could be felt, ethereal and formless. It was unknown when this sword would be born and how strong would it be. Shangguang Jiani wasn't his original name. It was a name given to him later on. Jiani, Jiani. When he killed someone, he only needed a single sword strike. Chi, chi, chi. The sword intent gushed forth. Shangguang Jiani still didn't have a powerful halo of light around him. However, the Tao Tai let out a roar as he sensed an intense threat. He grew more and more violent as he rushed towards Shangguang Jiani. Roar! An ear-piercing shriek rang out, capable of piercing one's eardrums and shattering their internal organs. However, Shangguang Jiani didn't seem to feel it at all. He continued standing there, his body trembling from the impact of the Tao Tai stomping on the platform as well as the ear-piercing shriek. Chi, chi, an even more ear-piercing roar rang out. The tens of thousands of sword intents suddenly transformed into countless flexible swords that revolved around the Tao Tai. However, they still didn't launch any attacks. Instead, the more they converged, the more terrifying they became, almost forming a world of swords that wanted to engulf the Tao Tai within. The Tao Tai roared in rage as he attacked. However, the sword intents seemed to be illusory. His attacks actually had no way to touch them. The boundless sword intents merely moved along with him, growing stronger and stronger. Finally, they reached a peak, transforming into a prison of swords that completely engulfed the Tao Tai's body. Roar! The Tao Tai let out a heaven-shaking roar. He didn't continue attacking Shangguang Jiani, instead, he turned around and fled. But at this moment, Shangguang Jiani moved. A resplendent beam of sword light erupted from his body as he slashed out with his sword, commanding the tens of thousands of sword intents. In an instant, the sword prison was imbued with a supreme sword might as it shot towards the Tao Tai's body. In just an instant, fresh blood splattered as miserable screams filled the air. That incomparably gigantic Tao Tai's body was gradually devoured by the sword prison, and very swiftly, it completely disappeared. On the battle platform, the sword intents were still emitting sharp whistling sounds before they slowly faded away. The eyes of the experts from the immortal realms flashed. What powerful combat prowess! Seems like the major powers of the immortal realms are getting serious, sending out their most outstanding geniuses. The expressions of those demons were extremely unsightly to behold. They were actually suppressed by the humans. Right now, it could be considered as 2 wins and 2 losses. They didn't gain any advantage at all. Who's going to fight? The Base Demon Emperor calmly spoke. A figure from the evil god race walked out. He was like a supreme evil king, stepping onto the battle platform, waiting for the immortal realms to send themselves to their deaths. This time around, an immortal king from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom at the same cultivation level as the evil god race was proficient in the evilest of energies. Destruction, poison, corrosion, confusion, control. He was from the evil god race. The more evil the energy was, the more they would cultivate it. Although the immortal king from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom was powerful, he still died miserably in the hands of the evil god race. He was directly swallowed by the evil god race and was digested. On the human side, the supreme geniuses from the various major powers stepped out one after another. The greater demons of the desolate mountains sent out terrifying greater demons, and there were actually victories and defeats on both sides. These greater demons were all extremely terrifying, any of them had shocking talent unique to the demon race. They were all saint beasts of the desolate mountains, kings of the desolate mountains. However, on the human side, there were also some supreme geniuses. Shangwang Jiani from the Supreme Sword School was incomparably powerful. There was also a supremely powerful immortal king from the Shooting Sun Kingdom who could reap lives with his arrows. There was also a terrifying immortal king from the Sanluo Immortal Empire who created a law domain, the Sanluo Hell. But even so, the demons still held the advantage. But it wasn't an easy thing to completely crush the alliance of these peak powers of the immortal realms. Is this enough? You guys lost more than you won. Isn't it about time for you guys to retreat from Skybreak City? The Base Demon Emperor coldly spoke. The Immortal Emperor of the Northern Regions replied, the battle has yet to end. Those elites of our immortal realms can continue to fight. Could it be that you guys think they can fight against the strongest experts of our demon race? A supreme expert from the Foarok race coldly spoke. How would we know if we don't try? The Immortal Emperor of the Immortal Realms replied. He felt that since these demons were in such a hurry to expel them from Skybreak City, there must be a major matter. At this moment, Qin Wentian's body trembled. He felt that little rascal was summoning him again. And at the same time, the expression of the Base Demon Emperor changed. If you still don't retreat from Skybreak City, the greater demons of the desolate mountains will launch an attack. As the sound of her voice faded, the countless demonic beasts behind her roared in unison, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. And at this moment, in a certain location in the desolate 10,000 mountain range, the heavens and earth suddenly changed. The earth fissured as a supreme demonic chi shot up into the sky, permeating into the distance. In the surroundings of this place, there were actually more demons compared to the outside world, including those powerful demonic beasts. If the people of the immortal realms saw this, they would surely be shocked. Chapter 14:13. In a certain location in the depths of the desolate 10,000 mountain range, the heavens and earth split apart as a desolate aura from the primordial era gushed forth, powerful to an unfathomable extent. The eyes of countless greater demons in the surroundings gleamed with sharpness as their bodies trembled. There were countless low-level demonic beasts who prostrated themselves on the ground, their eyes filled with reverence as well as a faint trace of fear. It was as though what was about to happen was a terrifying scene. The cracks in the heavens and earth grew more and more terrifying. Even the heavens and earth were torn apart. Numerous cracks extended outwards, and in the depths of the spatial cracks, a beam of light could be seen. This beam of light originated from the primordial era. This beam of light gradually grew brighter, and as the light grew brighter, the terrifying might in the surroundings grew even more terrifying. At this moment, many greater demons from the ancient races were gathered together, all of them were in their original forms. One of the greater demons had 9 heads, and each head had a pair of terrifying eyes that stared ahead. Those heads were like divine mastiffs, incomparably baleful and exuding a tyrannical aura. His body glowed with a terrifying golden light as a terrifying aura radiated from him. In the surroundings, none of the demonic beasts dared to feel anything except for a snow-white little demon on his shoulder. The little demon seemed to be extremely content and was currently staring curiously at everything that was happening. At the same time, he was also calling out to someone. Beside the little fellow, there was a fiery red vermilion bird. Because the body of the greater demon that enveloped the little fellow was too huge, like an ancient mountain, the little fellow and the vermilion bird appeared even smaller, like tiny specks that were inconspicuous. If there was an opportunity, people would directly ignore them. Such a combination was indeed a little strange. "Senior, is there really a demon god mountain?" Little Rascal's childish voice rang out, asking this incomparably gigantic existence. Naturally, the people of the Base race are proficient in prophecy arts. They are capable of countless transformations and can even see through heavenly secrets. The clan leader of the Base race has already predicted that there would be a huge change in the desolate mountains. With the appearance of the demon god mountain, the desolate 10,000 mountain range would be affected and many supreme greater demons would be born. The strength of the entire desolate 10,000 mountain range would rise by a level. That greater demon spoke. Little Rascal blinked. "So this is the demon god mountain. How shocking. Are there some great treasures here? If humans came here, would they be able to obtain them too? What are you thinking about? The demon god mountain is the sacred mountain of our desolate mountains. It's extremely rare for it to appear even once in countless years. Once it appears, it would indicate that there's going to be a huge change in the world. The desolate mountains are going to be in a state of chaos. What's the use of humans coming here? They would only be a hindrance to our sacred mountain. Hence, I hope those fellows outside can temporarily expel the humans from Skybreak City. Those humans are very cunning. There are also many powerful experts among them. I'm afraid it won't be easy to expel them." The little guy's eyes flickered. "Humph, you are right. Humans are truly cunning and greedy. They would definitely be eyeing our sacred mountain. It won't be easy to expel them, but I'm just trying it out. So what if they really come here? Let them all die in our desolate mountains, never to return. After that, we shall sweep through the immortal realms and invade the human world. Demons and humans shall coexist, transforming the entire immortal realms into our desolate mountains." That greater demon's voice was incomparably tyrannical. "Is that so? If there are humans with extremely powerful demonic beast bloodlines, would the demon god mountain be of any use?" Little Rascal mumbled, as though he didn't care about how strong the demons of the desolate mountains were. Whether the desolate mountains were strong or not, it didn't matter to him at all. Right now, he was thinking about what he could gain from this. However, there shouldn't be any mistakes in following this senior. Who asked this senior to say that they were from the same race? In addition, their race was from a race that was about to go extinct in the immortal realms. There was no solution to this. The races of the supreme ancient immortal realms were simply too rare. "Little Rascal, what are you thinking about in your head? There's no need for you to bother about the matters of humans. This time around, you just have to think of ways to gain more benefits. The demon god mountain is extremely rare, and every time it appears, a demon god would be born. This is a chance for the desolate mountains to rise up. You have the purest bloodline, and if you become a demon god in the future, you must definitely head to the other worlds to search for my people and revive my race." The greater demon's voice sounded extremely aged. "Oh." Little Rascal replied, but he was still somewhat distracted. Up ahead, the light grew stronger and stronger. In that space where the heavens and earth were split apart, there seemed to be a divine mountain appearing from the void. "Is that the demon god mountain?" Little Rascal mumbled. The prophecy of the Base clan was right. The demon god mountain has appeared, descending from the heavens. The sacred mountain of our desolate mountains has appeared, and the great era of demons is about to arrive. From now on, the desolate mountains shall be the hegemon of the desolate mountains. Roar, roar, roar. Only to see countless demonic beasts rushing over. When they stared at the newly formed demon god mountain, they all knelt on the ground and prostrated themselves. This was the legend of the demon gods of the desolate mountains. It was a sacred mountain, a sacred ground that would only appear once every countless years. But now, it has appeared. However, this demon god mountain hasn't fully taken form yet. It was still changing and exuded an ancient aura. This demon god mountain extended into the void, it was unknown how far away it was. It seemed to be boundlessly deep and seemed to be right in front of them. However, they all understood that the demon god mountain was immeasurably deep. When this huge commotion occurred, the demon god mountain appeared, causing the entire desolate mountains to tremble. Numerous fissures appeared on the ground, extending outwards, resembling a spiderweb that extended endlessly. At the border of the desolate 10,000 mountain range and the immortal realms, outside Skybreak City, the demons and humans who were fighting here were all shocked as well. They could all feel the terrifying tremors coming from the depths of the desolate mountains. Although countless greater demons blotted out the sky, they could still feel the tremors and could sense the terrifying changes happening within. The expressions of many experts from the immortal realms changed. This was especially so for those immortal emperors. All of their expressions were incomparably heavy. As for those demons, they couldn't control themselves as they silently cursed their fellow demons. In truth, these people who came here weren't the core members of their respective demon races. They were sent here to complete a mission, the strongest of the demon races. Right now, they were in the mountain range, waiting for the sacred ground, the demon god mountain, to appear. Right now, the tremors in the desolate mountains were so great that even the people at the border could feel it. They knew what was going to happen soon. Hence, their hearts had already flown to the depths of the desolate mountains. What exactly is happening in the desolate mountains? The eyes of some immortal emperors gleamed with sharpness. They finally realized that the situation might be much greater than what they had imagined. The eyes of these demons flashed, they couldn't remain calm anymore. They basically had no heart to continue fighting. They could faintly sense that these incomparably powerful greater demons were only sent here to delay them. If they could intimidate them and chase them out of Skybreak City, that would naturally be for the best. What does this have to do with your immortal realms? The matters of my desolate mountains have yet to be discussed by you humans. The battle has yet to end. If you guys really don't retreat from Skybreak City, the demon army of the desolate mountains will really invade the human world. The Bay's demon empress calmly spoke. She was the only one who could still maintain her calm. The other greater demons all felt agitated and wanted to leave. According to the legends, the demon god mountain has appeared, ushering in a brand new era in the desolate mountains. The demons of the desolate mountains would welcome an opportunity. In fact, there might even be a demon god that would be able to rule over the desolate mountains. Boom! A few beams of light shot out, directly ignoring the demons as they rushed into the desolate mountains. These figures were all immortal emperors who had been hiding in the shadows. When they sensed that something major was happening in the desolate mountains, they were no longer able to remain calm. They had to head over there to see what was going on. Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with sharpness, flashing with the light of truth. He stared at the greater demons in front of him and could sense that they had no will to fight and wanted to leave. In addition, Little Rascal was still summoning him. He naturally knew that something shocking was happening in the desolate mountains. The desolate mountains are about to undergo a great change. What's the point of you guys obstructing us here? The truly powerful immortal emperors have already rushed into the desolate mountains. You guys won't be able to stop them. Our human Wuxia is fine, but if you guys miss this opportunity, you guys will never have another chance to rise up again. You will only be trampled under the feet of the other greater demons. Qin Wentian could sense the emotions of these demons as he tried to provoke them. Although they knew Qin Wentian's intentions, the hearts of these greater demons were still trembling intensely. Are you guys willing to be suppressed by humans? You were sent here to suppress the humans of the immortal realms while those greater demons who sent you here reaped the fruits of our labor? Qin Wentian probed. And as expected, the expressions of the greater demons changed again, as though they were filled with reluctance. How arrogant were these greater demons? Although they could return after completing their mission, these humans were extremely difficult to deal with. They were already impatient to go and take a look at the legendary place. The Bai's demon emperor glanced at the greater demons as she sighed in her heart. Seems like everything was moving towards the direction of the prophecy. She sighed and said, "Retreat." As the sound of her voice faded, the greater demons frantically retreated. They were like bolts of lightning, fleeing for their lives. It was too fast, so fast that it was inconceivable. The Foarok race spread their wings, blotting out the sun. With a flap of their wings, they vanished without a trace. These demons are actually so anxious. What happened exactly? Someone sighed in admiration. Let's go and take a look. The figures of the greater demons flickered as they entered the desolate mountains. As they advanced, they could see a divine mountain in the distance. The radiance of this divine mountain enveloped the entire desolate mountains, radiating its radiance. Those demon immortals obstructed us because they wanted to delay us immortal cultivators, not allowing us to come to the desolate mountains and destroy everything. Everyone felt their hearts trembling when they saw this scene. As they continued forward, waves of disdain rose in their hearts. The Demon God Mountain, the #1 legendary mountain in the desolate mountains. Someone exclaimed in shock. Heavens, the desolate mountains are about to welcome a brand new era. Our immortal realms are in for it. Chapter 14:14. The ordinary people of the immortal realms might not have an understanding of the Demon God Mountain, but for the immortal emperors of the immortal realms, especially the great emperors of the northern regions, they naturally knew a little about the legends of the desolate 10,000 mountain range. This was especially so for the #1 Demon God Mountain. There were ancient records stating that in the long river of history of the azure mystic immortal realms, humans and demonic beasts had clashed many times. There were characters who were incomparably strong who unified the azure mystic immortal realms and even ruled over the desolate mountain range. Naturally, there were also people who weren't interested in the desolate mountain range. In that era, there was a character named Wuxia who rushed into the desolate mountain range in search of demonic beasts to be his mounts. In other eras, a world-shocking greater demon appeared in the wilderness. It killed the humans and wreaked havoc among them. Finally, a balance was formed between both sides. The desolate 10,000 mountain range seemed to be separated from the immortal realms. This history was even earlier than the myriad Devil Islands. But if one traced the history of the desolate mountains from the ancient records, they would be able to see many legends about the desolate mountains. And among these legends, the legend of the Demon God Mountain was ranked #1. It was the most mythical legend of the demons of the desolate mountains. According to history, every time the Demon God Mountain appeared, the demons of the desolate mountain range would welcome a brand new era. The demons of the desolate mountains would undergo a metamorphosis and many powerful demons would appear. More kings of the desolate mountain range would be born and there might even be powerful demon gods that would unite the desolate mountains. If the desolate mountains coveted the immortal realms, it would surely be a calamity for the immortal realms. Once the desolate 100,000 mountain range welcomed a new era, there was no doubt that the immortal realms would become the territory of humans. It was just that no one knew to what extent it would be destroyed. It has only been 100 years since the Tiandao Sacred Academy appeared. Now that the Demon God Mountain of the Desolate Mountains has appeared, the immortal realms are truly going to have a major event in the future. I wonder if it's a blessing or a calamity. Which direction would it develop in? An immortal emperor sighed. That's right. With the arrival of the Great Era, the future of the immortal realms is destined to be chaotic. Go, let's head to the Demon God Mountain to take a look. Right now, all the greater demons of the desolate mountains are madly rushing towards the Demon God Mountain. There's basically no one here to obstruct us. Before this, most probably, they already knew that the Demon God Mountain would descend and were afraid that our immortal realms would destroy it. The greater demons of the desolate mountains respect the Demon God Mountain like it's a god. The appearance of the Demon God Mountain is a sacred ceremony to them and they wouldn't allow anyone to interrupt it. Naturally, they wouldn't allow people from the immortal realms to enter the desolate mountains. If we barged into the desolate mountains earlier, those greater demons would most probably start a war. No wonder there were only a few demon emperors among them. So it turns out that they were all waiting for the Demon God Mountain to appear. Many voices rang out, following which, numerous figures stepped out, heading towards the desolate mountain range. Brother Qin, let's go in and take a look as well. The Demon God Mountain is the supreme legend of the desolate mountains, it's the myriad Demon God Mountain. Nanfeng Mingyue spoke in a low voice to Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian nodded, no wonder little rascal summoned him earlier. That little fellow was extremely astute, he grew up on Qin Wentian's blood and naturally knew that Qin Wentian had a powerful demonic bloodline in his body. Hence, little rascal summoned Qin Wentian, hoping that Qin Wentian would be able to obtain some benefits. The countless demonic beasts in the desolate mountains all vanished. With the appearance of the Demon God Mountain, all of them had to make a pilgrimage there. The demons with intelligence naturally knew the significance of the Demon God Mountain. Although they were only low-grade demonic beasts now, the fact that the Demon God Mountain could allow demons to undergo a transformation was a very rare opportunity. Although the chances were slim, they still had a sliver of hope that they would be able to make a comeback. The radiance grew more and more resplendent, illuminating the entire space. The desolate mountains seemed so divine, like a divine mountain that descended from the heavens, incomparably profound. Countless demonic beasts followed the path of the Demon God Mountain, moving step by step towards the Demon God Mountain, their expressions filled with reverence and agitation. The Demon God Mountain was as expected of a legend, it actually opened up a dimension in the desolate mountains, with many ancient paths leading to it. Many human cultivators sped over, moving as fast as lightning. Numerous immortal emperors were the first to arrive. When they saw the flashing light, they also saw the countless demonic beasts rushing over like the tides. After that, they rushed into the Demon God Mountain and entered it. After that, they headed towards different directions. This Demon God Mountain seemed to be able to contain countless demonic beasts from the desolate mountains. Humans, you dare to enter my desolate God Mountain? Are you courting death? A demon emperor glanced at the human immortal emperors as he coldly spoke. However, he didn't intend to stop them and directly entered the Demon God Mountain. Many immortal emperors hesitated. Although the Demon God Mountain was the #1 legendary place in the desolate mountains, it was still a sacred ground of the desolate mountains after all. They didn't know what they would encounter if they entered. Are there any records of the human Wuxia entering the Demon God Mountain in the ancient records? Someone turned his gaze to an immortal emperor from the Hokage Sengoku Kingdom. That immortal emperor stood in the air, his robes fluttered in the wind as he replied in a low voice, yes, but there are very few records. From the records, we can tell that if there's good fortune, humans can also obtain good fortune in the Demon God Mountain. However, the benefits they obtained cannot be compared to the demonic beasts of the desolate mountains. No wonder they also stopped us, allowing us to enter. An immortal emperor spoke. However, since we are already here, we have to enter no matter what to take a look at the secret of the desolate God Mountain. Someone sighed. They have already reached the immortal emperor realm. Right now, every step they took was as difficult as ascending the heavens. They would often head to some secret realms in the immortal realms to explore. Now that the number one legendary place of the desolate mountains has appeared before them, how could they miss it? That's only natural. Numerous immortal emperors stepped out, entering the demon god mountain with no hesitation. Qin Wentian and the others also arrived here. Many of them came from the immortal realms, Wuxia. All of them were powerful immortal kings from the various major powers. When they stared at the demon god mountain before them, their eyes gleamed with sharpness. The connection between me and little rascal has actually disappeared. He should have entered the demon god mountain. Qin Wentian mused. After that, numerous figures directly rushed into the demon god mountain. These were all the most outstanding immortal kings. The more powerful a character was, the more they wanted to temper themselves and see the world. Naturally, there were also those greater demons from the western regions, the Tianping people and the White Tiger people. All of them also had an extreme thirst for the demon god mountain. Let's go. Qin Wentian spoke. He, Changqing Longhao and the experts from the Battle Saint tribe moved together, moving towards the demon god mountain. Staring at their backs, the eyes of many people from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, Supreme Sword School and the others flashed with coldness. Someone transmitted his voiceover, there's an opportunity in the demon god mountain. Kill him. If we can find an opportunity, we will kill him as well as Changqing Longhao. Let's deal with them together and weaken the strength of the Evergreen Kingdom. They silently conversed, all of them had the thought of killing Qin Wentian. The news of the demon god mountain appearing in the desolate 10,000 mountain range was circulated to Skybreak City. After that, this news started to circulate at a terrifying speed. All the experts started to make use of teleportation arrays to head towards the desolate 10,000 mountain range. This was especially so for the demon races in the western regions. They all turned out in full force, filled with boundless yearning. Qin Wentian and the others stepped into the demon god mountain. Their immortal senses were instantly obstructed. They discovered that this demon god mountain blocked off immortal senses and they could only use their eyes to observe everything. There's an independent dimension here that blocks off immortal senses. Right now, no matter what cultivation base one has, there wouldn't be too much of a difference. We can only use our eyes to observe everything. Changqing Longhao also discovered that his immortal senses were obstructed. This demon god mountain is right in front of us, it's connected to the heavens, like it came from the outer world. But in truth, it's an independent dimension that's located in the desolate mountains. It doesn't seem to belong to the immortal realms. In that case, where did this demon god mountain originate from? If it was in the past, maybe Qin Wentian wouldn't be so sensitive. But after learning of his father's experiences, he would often think of the 32 heavens outside the azure mystic immortal realms. It's truly very vast, boundless as far as the eye can see. As they spoke, they stepped forward, soaring through the air. There were many mysterious ancient mountains and tens of thousands of demonic beasts. In front of them, a demonic beast swooped down. This was a fiery bird. He swooped down and swallowed a fiery red plant, involuntarily letting out a long cry. His body was bathed in boundless flames, becoming incomparably terrifying in the blink of an eye. The flames towered up into the sky, exceeding his original aura. The fiery bird had an agitated look on his face. He soared up into the sky as the flames grew stronger and stronger. At this moment, the expression of the fiery bird drastically changed. His aura was still growing stronger and stronger, unable to be controlled. Finally, his body started to burn. This was a power that could even incinerate him. A scream of misery rang out. The fiery bird was transformed into a ball of blazing fire before turning into ashes. What a terrifying plant, able to cause the fiery bird to evolve. In fact, even the demon immortal fiery bird couldn't withstand the power of the plant. It surpassed the limits of his endurance and was incinerated. Nanfeng Mingyue's countenance changed. A random plant actually had such shocking power. Wasn't this heaven-defying? At this moment, screams of misery rang out unceasingly. Qin Wentian and the others saw many demonic beasts that were proficient in fire attribute energy being incinerated as they walked towards the abyss of destruction. All of them had swallowed the same plant. How terrifying! Qin Wentian and the others continued forward. Below them, a powerful demonic qi gushed forth. It was a powerful demon king that had swallowed a demonic tree. After that, his originally gigantic body actually started to expand, becoming even larger. Terrifying wings appeared on his back, blotting out the sun. He howled in rage and soared up into the air, flying towards the horizons with an expression of incomparable excitement on his face. Look over there. A holy maiden of the Namhuang clan pointed in a certain direction. Very far away, a python could be seen spiraling in the air. After that, the python shed its skin as the scales on its body transformed, becoming even more majestic. Horns grew out of its body, claws grew out, and it let out a terrifying roar. That's a dragon python, it's currently transforming into a dragon. The holy maiden of the Namhuang clan exclaimed in shock as waves of shock rose in her heart. This was too unbelievable. The demonic beasts here all consumed the plant that grew on the demon god mountain. As long as the plant was suitable for them and they could control it, they would actually be able to evolve. How powerful would the desolate world be? Chapter 14-15. Qin Wentian's heart trembled as well. The cultivation of humans couldn't be accomplished in a single step. On this point, demonic beasts had an advantage over humans. The talent of demonic beasts was already determined from the moment they were born. What kind of achievements they would be able to reach. Hence, when demonic beasts obtained good fortune, they would usually be able to improve much faster compared to humans. The demon god mountain was known as the #1 legend of the desolate mountains, and it truly lived up to its name. Just the moment they entered, many of the heavenly ingredients and earthly treasures here could actually allow demonic beasts to evolve. Although their cultivation bases couldn't be directly raised, compared to cultivation bases, demonic beasts placed more importance on the evolution of their innate nature. Pythons were ultimately of the same species, they would only be able to transform into dragons after cultivating to an extremely high level. However, the treasures here could allow dragon pythons to transform into dragons. This wasn't as simple as raising their strength, it was a qualitative transformation of their innate nature. Such an effect was similar to the sacred luminance, but it was even more tyrannical. The demon god mountain was filled with sacred luminance. How terrifying was this place! No wonder the demons of the desolate mountains revered this place like a god. Naturally, since these were heaven-defying treasures, there would naturally be risks. Many demonic beasts would die miserably. The path of evolution of the desolate mountains would definitely lead to the deaths of countless greater demons, eliminating the weaker ones. Those that remained were all demons that had undergone evolution. There was no doubt that the strength of the desolate mountains would skyrocket. These are only ordinary demonic beasts of the desolate mountains. If demonic beasts of the royal bloodline of the desolate mountains underwent a transformation, how terrifying would they be? Nanfeng Mingyue spoke in a low voice, feeling worried for the immortal realms. The royal demons of the desolate mountains all have noble bloodlines, pure and powerful. If they want to evolve, the conditions would naturally be even harsher. I'm afraid ordinary treasures wouldn't be able to do it. Evergreen Longhao replied. Everyone nodded their heads in agreement. The same treasure would naturally have a weaker effect on demonic beasts with higher cultivation bases and stronger bloodlines. It would have a stronger effect on the weaker demonic beasts. As a result, those ordinary demonic beasts would directly die from the backlash of the treasure. They were too weak to withstand it. The divine mountain is unfathomably deep. We've only just entered. There must be some shocking secrets inside, Qin Wentian said. Let's keep going. Everyone nodded and continued on their way. Countless greater demons entered the demon god mountain, all of them wanted to obtain good fortune. No one bothered to deal with these humans. There was no need to. Hence, the humans Wuxia who entered the demon god mountain were all extremely carefree. They all split up and moved forward while thinking about how the plants here were extremely beneficial to demonic beasts. What would happen if they were to consume them? The immortal senses of Qin Wentian and the others were obstructed. They could only soar through the air, continuing forward. They didn't try to snatch the fruits from the demonic beasts below because if they did, they would surely attract the wrath of the greater demons. In addition, these items weren't able to move their hearts. Their target was the depths of the demon god mountain. They wanted to pry into the secrets of the demon god mountain. What made Qin Wentian and the others shocked was that even at this moment, the demon god mountain was still transforming. The demon god mountain was radiating boundless divine light that was even more dazzling than the sun. The light cascaded down on the surroundings, causing the landscape to change unceasingly. Sometimes, a crack would suddenly appear before Qin Wentian and the others as a towering mountain would appear. I sense a very powerful aura. It's faintly similar to the aura on my body. Nanfeng Mingyue suddenly spoke, her words causing Qin Wentian's eyes to flash. The people of the Namhuang clan all had the phoenix bloodline. If their auras were similar, there was a high possibility that a demonic beast with the phoenix bloodline would appear here. Which direction? Qin Wentian asked. That way. Nanfeng Mingyue pointed in a certain direction. After that, the immortal senses of everyone were obstructed and they could only rely on their eyes. After a while, their gazes froze as they stared at a skeleton in the distance. That was an incomparably gigantic skeleton with its head held high. Even after it died, it was still so arrogant, unwilling to lower its head even in death. Its blood had already flowed dry and its body no longer existed. Only a skeleton was left behind. However, even if it was just a skeleton, it still exuded an extremely tyrannical aura. Faint blood-colored runic light could be seen emanating from the skeleton. These were rune bones. This is a true phoenix, a skeleton left behind by a pure-blooded phoenix. The hearts of the Namhuang clan trembled. In this secret realm, there was actually a phoenix skeleton with a pure-blooded bloodline. The demon god mountain was simply inconceivable. What place was this exactly? Up ahead, there were many people here. There were experts from the desolate mountains, as well as humans. Both sides seemed to be at loggerheads, staring at the phoenix skeleton as though they wanted to obtain it. Qin Wentian stared at the blood-colored rune bones on the skeleton. A powerful energy was imprinted on them. This skeleton was priceless and could be said to be a supreme treasure. It wasn't something those herbs and fruits that could allow demonic beasts to evolve could compare to. This phoenix should have been a demonic arch when it was alive, a demonic beast that could reach the heavens. She had long formed her own Tao of nomological laws, and the bones in her body are all branded with unique nomological laws. The runic patterns on this skeleton might even be able to comprehend the inheritance methods of the true phoenix. Nanfeng Mingyue's eyes blazed with heat. Her Namhuang clan used the phoenix as their totem and cultivated many phoenix arts. However, there was no way they could be compared to a true phoenix that had a bloodline inheritance. Unless one reached the level of the southern phoenix matriarch, they could rely on themselves to comprehend many supreme techniques. The people gathered around the skeleton turned their gazes over. One of the greater demons coldly spoke, "Scram, this isn't a place where you can stay." The eyes of this greater demon were incomparably lofty. Although he was in human form, a pair of blood-colored wings could be seen on his back. Foarok race. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. "Scram, don't be a hindrance." A sharp voice rang out, berating Qin Wentian and the others. The person who spoke was none other than the human, Wuxia. Before this, Qin Wentian had seen him fighting before. Shanguang Jiani from the Supreme Sword School was extremely powerful and had killed a greater demon, the Tao Tai. He was a peak genius from the Tiandao Sacred Academy and had a cultivation base at the peak of the mid-stage of the Immortal King realm. The auras in the surroundings were in a frenzy. The humans here and the greater demons seemed to have already clashed before. Right now, they were facing each other in the air. What a joke. You guys can stay in the Demon God Mountain but we can't. Qin Wentian's eyes turned cold as he icily spoke. The Supreme Sword School, how imposing. Nanfeng Mingyue coldly spoke. Could it be that her Namhuang clan didn't even have the qualifications to contend? Shanguang Jiani actually dared to humiliate them. Yet another bunch of humans who don't know the immensity of death. An expert from the Fo'Arok race arrogantly spoke. They truly don't know the immensity of death. There was a golden sun bird that was bathed in flames, illuminating the surroundings. Your Namhuang clan wants this true phoenix skeleton. I'm afraid you guys aren't qualified enough. Another human from the Yin clan, Wuxia, coldly spoke. They and the Namhuang clan were both from the southern regions. They naturally wouldn't allow the skeleton to fall into the hands of the Namhuang clan. To contend for the treasures, we will have to depend on our own capabilities. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. What a joke. Shanguang Jiani frowned. His eyes gleamed with sharp swords, staring straight at Qin Wentian. Although this true phoenix skeleton didn't have any direct use for the Supreme Sword School, it could be used to forge supremely powerful immortal-ranked treasures. The price of such a huge skeleton was incomparably high, comparable to emperor-ranked weapons. In fact, if it was in the hands of someone who needed it, the price would be even more terrifying. Although your combat prowess is extraordinary and your cultivation speed is godly, you are too arrogant and conceited. Just based on the likes of you, Chongqing Longhao and Nanfeng Mingyue. Why don't you ask the two of them if they were as good as me in the Tiandao Sacred Academy? Let alone an initial stage immortal king like you, Qin Wentian. If there's no one protecting you, I can kill you with a single sword strike. Shanguang Jiani's eyes gleamed with sharpness, piercing through space. Originally, there were already so many major powers competing for the treasures here. Now that Qin Wentian and the others are here to stir things up, things would be even more troublesome. He was treated as an esteemed guest by the Namhuang clan, thinking that he would have a glorious future ahead of him. Naturally, his arrogance is inflated, but he doesn't know how vast the immortal realms are. It isn't something that a mere motley crew from the Dongshengshan Gate can control. Nanfeng Mingyue, your Namhuang clan is protecting a junior so much, hoping that he would be able to grow stronger in the future. How lamentable. An expert from the Yin clan coldly spoke. If you still don't scram, I will deal with you guys first. They temporarily joined forces with the Supreme Sword School to deal with the two demonic powers. It was impossible for Qin Wentian and the others to be the fishermen to reap the benefits. Upon seeing the human Wuxia starting a conflict, the Fo'Arok race and the Golden Sun Great Rock stood arrogantly in the air, staring at Qin Wentian and the others with disdain. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. These fellows didn't want to deal with the demons but wanted to suppress them instead. His eyes flashed with coldness as he spoke. Back then, I once fought with a junior from the Yin clan, Yingteng. The so-called paragon sword experts of the Supreme Sword School were all extremely arrogant. However, they were either humiliated by me or directly killed by me. Even if they didn't die, they would have long been left behind by me. I truly don't know what qualifications you all have to boast shamelessly, making a fool out of yourselves. Simply shameless. Don't know the immensity of death. An immortal king from the Yin clan spoke with incomparable arrogance. He stared at Qin Wentian as dragon roars echoed from him. He took a step out, exuding an incomparably tyrannical aura as he stared at Qin Wentian. Although you have many subordinates, if my Yin clan wants to kill you, you won't be able to live past tomorrow. My cultivation base is the same as yours, I'll give you a chance to fight against me. In case you say that my Ying clan is bullying you. When this person stepped out, he was like a true dragon, like a primordial beast, exuding an incomparably tyrannical aura. He was an expert from the Ying clan, a heaven chosen of the Ying clan, and had tyrannical combat prowess. His Ying clan was one of the 3 ancient clans of the southern regions. No matter how imposing Qin Wentian was, he would dare to kill him directly. If you want to kill me, I won't be able to live past tomorrow. Qin Wentian coldly spoke. He stepped out and stared at the eyes of the people from the Supreme Sword School. He knew that many of them wanted his life after seeing him entering the Demon God Mountain. In that case, I truly want to see how you are going to kill me. Qin Wentian stepped out and unleashed his law domain. In an instant, a destructive devil might engulf this entire space. Help me seal off the interference of others. I want him to die. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. Several experts from the Battle Saint tribe nodded and stepped out, preparing to act at any moment. Chapter 14-16. You want me to die? That expert from the Ying clan laughed uproariously as the roars of dragons shook the sky. In the air, demonic qi gushed forth as an incomparably gigantic dragon manifested, blotting out the sky. It transformed into a law domain, capable of devouring everything. The entire space seemed to be under the belly of the dragon. Kill! That expert from the Ying clan roared. That true dragon swooped down, its gigantic body aiming for Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's law domain erupted forth. Using God's hand as the foundation, it contained a myriad of transformations, capable of unleashing all sorts of innate techniques. A gigantic palm imprint appeared in the air, enveloping everything. This palm imprint shone with boundless runic light, capable of manifesting a myriad of innate techniques. The palm imprint directly shot towards the descending demonic dragon, manifesting a supreme devil saber that could destroy everything. This saber could split the heavens and earth apart, slamming into the incoming demonic dragon. Swishing sounds rang out as the demonic dragon was directly slashed apart from the middle. The countenance of that expert from the Ying clan changed. However, as an expert of the royal clan, how could he simply rely on the power of his law domain? He roared loudly, exuding a tyrannical aura, akin to a fiend god. He punched out with his fist as dragon roars shook the heavens and earth. 9 demonic dragons opened their maws wide, wanting to devour Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian stepped out, exuding boundless tyranny. He stood with his hands behind his back and soared into the air, manifesting another devil saber imprint. The devil saber of annihilation traversed 100 miles, slashing downwards. With a swishing sound, the demonic dragons were all slashed apart. No matter how tyrannical you are, I will slay you with a single saber strike. The saber continued forward. That expert from the Ying clan activated his bloodline and transformed into a true dragon, exuding a powerful aura. His entire person turned golden, the invulnerable golden body manifested. Even when the saber light slashed down, it had no way to break through his body. As an expert from the royal clan, an initial stage immortal king, how could his strength be underestimated? His attacks and defenses were both incomparably tyrannical. How will you kill me? His golden body was like a peerless overlord. His eyes shone with a brilliant light, and he was extremely confident and arrogant. Although Qin Wentian's saber art was strong, he had cultivated a powerful body-refining art, and he also had a powerful bloodline, the art of the true dragon, and the noble bloodline of the royal family. Even if Qin Wentian's combat strength was extraordinary, he would still die. I'm just playing with you. Qin Wentian only sneered when he saw this scene, causing the other party to feel extremely humiliated. Just playing around? Shameless. You're courting death. That expert from the Ying clan coldly spoke. However, he only saw boundless light radiating from Qin Wentian, infusing it into his law domain. He still stood there with his hands clasped behind his back, but the palm imprints in the air seemed to fuse together as one. The gigantic palm imprints shone with boundless runic light, and gradually, numerous destructive devil sabers manifested, wanting to suppress and destroy everything. Qin Wentian took another step forward. Devil might gushed forth, so powerful that it was unexcelled in the world. The aura of the devil sabers abruptly soared to another level as the destructive devil sabers slashed down. This was especially so for the devil saber in the middle. It seemed to be formed from the convergence of countless devil sabers. Die! Qin Wentian spat out a single word. The devil sabers slashed down, causing the expert from the Yin clan to howl in rage. However, the devil sabers continued to slash downwards. The devil saber in the middle slashed down, directly cleaving his body into two. With a swishing sound, even before the other experts from the Yin clan acted, he was already dead. You dare! A cold voice rang out. The experts from the Yin clan shot towards Qin Wentian, only to see the experts from the Battle Saint tribe unleashing their terrifying might. Boundless battle might filled the air, unexcelled in the world, protecting Qin Wentian behind him. Since I've already killed him, what's there to not dare? Do you really think I'm the same as you guys, only knowing how to talk big? Qin Wentian glanced at the experts from the Yin clan. The people from the Yin clan can't even withstand a single strike at the same level. The Supreme Sword School is the same as well. I really don't know what qualifications you all have to behave so atrociously before me. This true phoenix skeleton can only be obtained by experts. If you all want to start a war, I'm more than happy to oblige. Right now, Qin Wentian was already an immortal king expert. He naturally had the aura of an immortal king. He had enemies all over the world, especially in the eastern regions. There were countless people who wanted to kill him. He didn't mind making more enemies. Since there were people who dared to humiliate him, he would definitely repay them. If he could kill them, he would kill them. If he couldn't, he would kill them again after he grew stronger. On the path of the strong, taking a step back and enduring silently would only cause his opponents to push their luck and bully him. Only by using brute force would one be able to strike fear into the hearts of others. Peak Stage Immortal King. The experts from the Supreme Sword School and the Yin clan could feel the might of the experts from the Battle Saint tribe. For Peak Stage Immortal Kings, the might they unleashed during their battles was extremely terrifying. Your law domain seems to be a type of innate technique. What kind of innate technique is it? At this moment, an expert from the Foarok race calmly asked as he stared at Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian glanced at him but didn't bother with him. When the expert from the Foarok race saw that Qin Wentian was ignoring him, he coldly laughed. If I didn't see wrongly, it should be the secret art of ancient Emperor Yi, God's hand, right? To think that demons of the desolate mountains would actually know about the secret arts of the immortal realms. Qin Wentian spoke. Humans of the immortal realms, how would they know about the strength of our royal races of the desolate mountains? Just a mere secret art, let alone knowing about it. Which of our royal races of the desolate mountains have inheritances that are weaker than the secret arts of your so-called ancient emperors? The expert from the Foarok race arrogantly spoke, completely disregarding Wuxia from the immortal realms. They want to contend against us in the demon god mountain of the desolate mountains. The expert from the Foarok race stared at the golden sun bird as he coldly laughed in disdain. Maybe, they don't know who you are. One of the golden sun birds spoke, his voice filled with a tyrannical arrogance. They think that we are afraid of them. But they don't know that we are merely thinking about whether the skeleton belongs to our race or to yours. The expert from the Foarok race spoke again. The two of them spoke one after another, completely ignoring Qin Wentian and the other experts. Let's not waste any more time. Whoever kills the most will get the skeleton. How about it? A young man from the golden sun bird spoke. Right. The expert from the Foarok race nodded. After that, his body started to transform. His gigantic body that had the characteristics of both great rocks and phoenixes appeared in the air. His wings spread out, blotting out the sun. Blood-colored claws and wings gleamed with runic light, exuding incomparable sharpness. On the other side, the golden sun bird was clad in sun fire. His sharp claws held onto a golden sun spear, capable of melting everything in the world. Saint Lord, be careful. These two demons are extremely powerful. The experts from the Battle Saint tribe stood before Qin Wentian, feeling a sense of threat. These two greater demons were both peak-stage immortal kings, and from their tone, they seemed to be extraordinary characters from their respective races. There was a high possibility that they were the leaders of the royal races. Bzz, abruptly, a raging wind gusted. Before everyone could react, that blood-colored Foarok had already vanished from his original location, transforming into a blood-colored bolt of lightning. Now that their immortal senses were obstructed, their vision couldn't even follow the speed of the blood-colored Foarok. Boom! A deafening sound rang out. A powerful immortal king from the Ying clan was blasted apart by a single strike. His entire person resembled blood-colored lava as his entire body started to burn. With a scream of agony, his body exploded, instantly killed. I didn't see this Foarok earlier. His status is even higher compared to the Foarok sent to obstruct us. Changqing Longhao's expression stiffened when he saw this scene, feeling an intense sense of threat. On the other side, the golden sun bird also acted. The sun spear in its talons pierced out as a sun appeared, piercing through the heavens and earth. An immortal king was directly pierced through by the sun flames as he screamed in agony. Boom, boom. Numerous supreme auras gushed forth. Those experts from the Foarok race and Gold Sun race all unleashed their auras, blotting out the sun as though it was on the verge of destruction. Early-stage immortal kings weren't even enough to look at in the face of such a supreme battle. The blood-colored light shot towards Qin Wentian. The speed of the sky rock was inconceivably fast. The experts from the Battle Saint tribe stood in front of Qin Wentian. With a thunderous roar, battle might gushed forth as they blasted out gigantic palm imprints that covered the heavens and earth, blocking the incoming attack. Bang! Intense rumbling sounds echoed out. That expert from the Foarok race floated in the air, staring at the experts below as he coldly laughed, "Your strength isn't bad." As he spoke, his blood-colored body blazed with terrifying phoenix flames, wanting to incinerate everything. He transformed into a streak of blood-colored lightning once more. There was basically no way to track his movements. Saint Lord, his speed is too fast. It's best for us to retreat. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. The combat prowess of a peak-level character from the Foarok race was actually so terrifying. Right. Qin Wentian immediately gave the order. After that, the group of them retreated. Many among them had no way to withstand the attacks of that fellow and could only give up on the phoenix skeleton. Not only for Qin Wentian and his group, the experts from the Supreme Sword School and the Ying clan were also retreating. Those two fellows were simply two tyrannical, invincible existences below the immortal emperor realm. The demon god mountain didn't give chase. There were countless good fortune waiting for them in the desolate mountains. They didn't have the time to chase after these humans. What a pity, the runes on the phoenix skeleton might contain innate techniques or even true phoenix inheritance arts. Nanfo Mingyue sighed. That demonic beast has the innate talent of both the great rocks and phoenixes. It's the same for the golden sun crows as well. If it can awaken the true phoenix inheritance arts, it would definitely be a supremely terrifying existence. No wonder they don't care about us immortal cultivators entering the demon god mountain. This is the desolate mountains, their territory. Even if there's good fortune here, we won't be able to snatch it away. Changqing Longhao's status was extraordinary, but he couldn't help but to admit that the greater demons of the desolate mountains were extremely powerful. Right now, the various powers in the immortal realms should have already received the news. Before this, the number of experts from our respective races who came here was not too strong. Once this news circulates, the experts from the various peak powers would all come here, including those at the peak of the Immortal King realm. At that time, the demonic beasts of the desolate mountains might not be able to gain an advantage. Nanfo Mingyue spoke. No matter what, this demon god mountain would definitely be filled with experts. Even the Tiandao Sacred Academy isn't as lively as this. Qin Wentian stared at the demon god mountain as a look of anticipation flashed in his eyes. He naturally understood the reason why little rascal summoned him here. He possessed the bloodline of an incomparably powerful primordial greater demon. Maybe, he would be able to obtain good fortune on the demon god mountain. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.